welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Y'all thought it was gone, right? Y'all thought it was over. Let me tell y'all something, though. When it say the voice of the people, he mean that shit. It's the return of the underdog, the voice of the people.
So they asked me, young boy, how you gonna come back? I told him, I come back like 32. I jump back like 33. That's nothing.
Now for the main event, the main focus.
I told you, nigga.
Welcome back.
Yeah, nigga.
Welcome back.
I told you I was coming back, nigga.
Welcome back.
I want to jam for long.
Welcome back.
Guess who's back and he's shining on you, nigga.
Welcome back.
Guess who's back and he's shining on you.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back and I'm shining on you, nigga.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back and I'm shining on you.
All right, are back. And with the power of God, we will not drop this time around, baby. We will definitely get this show on the road and keep it going. I definitely want everyone out there to know that we're still, I guess, debating whether or not to switch to a new platform. So here we are on Blog Talk, giving it another test drive. The call-in number is 646-478-3068, and I would definitely tweet that out. I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat for all you guys that want to talk some boxing. And go ahead and promote this out on Facebook and Twitter. Let them know we're going live, and we're here to talk some boxing, man. We're going to talk definitely some Ortiz Collazo, which is possibly the biggest news of this weekend, being as though that this weekend didn't have many fights. But I definitely want to point your attention over to theboxingvoice.com/store and pick up at least a shirt, a mug, I don't know, a cell phone case, something. Help support, keep the show on the air, and we can continue to do innovating things and try to bring you the best show and show quality that we most possibly can. Pretty soon we should be doing some more giveaways. I got a shitload of gloves, and so does Vic. So we got to get some things signed and you know, send them out. If all things go well Thursday night, I should be seeing both Pacquiao and Bradley. And who knows? Maybe we get one of those signs. That would definitely be big for you guys. You know, we do it definitely for you. And if you don't have any money to give, you already know, man. $1.40 is good enough for us. You can head on over to theboxingvoice.com, click the donate button. And for everyone out there that thinks that we just want money, remember the biggest, most powerfulest, greatest gift you can give us is a 5-star iTunes review. Now that we're using Blog Talk again, it's going to have to be on both the old logo and the new logo iTunes, because this show will be archived on iTunes on our old Blog Talk feed, which has hundreds of episodes, but it definitely was 2011 and 12 shows. Last but not least, our two big sponsors, Arnette.com. Definitely go on over to Arnette.com. Use all the URLs and banners on our website for all your shopping needs of any, you know, I guess, performance enhancement sort of supplements over there. It's like a GNC, but better. Head on over to Arnette.com. Use one of our URL links on the page, and you can support us that way, absolutely free. You also get a discount for using our Arnette.com/theboxingvoice. I believe it's 10% off. Same as we get to give you a free book on Audible.com, and the URL is Audible, AUDIBLETRIAL.com/theboxingvoice. We're going to see, man. We're definitely going to do a chat room roll call today, Beeb and James. Make sure you remind me, because I want to see, you know, only the strong survive. So I want to see if these guys are riding with us on our switch-ups here. And I see we got a few people in the chat already.
There's a ton of people.
So actually a ton of people in the chat already. Nice. Thanks, guys. I'm putting a thanks in the chat now for bearing with us while we switch around and try to find the best platform possible where we could give you the best show. But now that we got all the sponsors and gibberish out the way, let's talk some motherfucking boxing, dude. You guys want to land on the Barkley card that took place this Thursday night when we seen Luis Collazo knock out Victor Ortiz? I mean, I got a lot to say about that. I don't know if we should leave that for last, but I'm going to kick it over and definitely introduce you to my two co-hosts. We have James all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. James, what's going on, brother?
What's up, everybody? And thank you for not watching the Super Bowl.
Definitely, man. Fucking Super Bowl, Schmooper Bowl. And before I don't know, Beeb, I wanted to hook you up, but I guess with the lack of, stability over here, I kind of lost your little intro. I gotta look for that. We're not gonna introduce Beeb until we find this shit. Fuck that. Oh, here we go.
He wants a title shot at the Beeb. He's not even lying. He wants a title shot at the Beeb.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? All the boxing heads, man. Super Bowl is nice, but you know what? Boxing is the shit. That's what we're here for. Boxing, baby. Let's talk some boxing.
And remember, man, so all the callers in the queue, I see you. If you want to talk, you must press 1, and that will notify me that you're ready to talk live and kick it. So remember, press 1. So I guess, Beeb, best thing we can do is talk about Ortiz-Collazo, man. That was an interesting fight. It was a good one while it lasted, but I'm going to, I guess, kick it over to you and James and see what you guys thought of it on television, and then I'll give you my experience there live, which was a good one. I mean, it truly made me feel the reason I love boxing when a card that's, being televised on Fox Sports Deportes 1 had me feeling the way that I was, the crowd, the amount of people that were there, and just some of those undercard fights that you guys weren't privy to. But, yeah, man, where's your guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, James. You can go first.
I don't know, man. I think the biggest one is the biggest question to me. I even texted Habib right afterwards. Is did you think Ortiz quit?
All
right. Seems like we already lost James and B, but that's not a technical difficulty. I guess I closed out their page. That's my bad. Yeah, they're both there. All right, James, you're back. I don't know. I guess somehow, I closed you guys out by mistake.
I don't know. I think
anyway, I guess we'll keep going.
We'll keep it going, huh?
Yeah. What did you think about Eddie Gomez taking the win over at Arnette? I thought that was a good fight, and I thought that was a 50-50 fight going into it. I picked Gomez, but I mean, I could have been wrong, and I would have been all right with it.
Well, I picked Arnette because I thought he was the slicker of the two. I thought the counter-punching, I thought the patience. I thought he would be able to kind of use Gomez's aggression against him, kind of lure him into some shots of his own, set some traps for him. But Gomez was just quick, explosive. And if you're a counterpuncher and you're dealing with a guy that has that quick explosiveness, it's almost like a basketball player with a quick first step. You can't gauge that quick first step and you can't pick up on it. Then that guy, you know what he's going to do. Doesn't matter. Like, people knew Jordan was going to go to his right. He could tell you he's going to his right. But the thing was picking up on it and gauging the speed. So basically, Arnette could not gauge the speed, the explosives, couldn't get the timing down. So before he knew it, or before he could react, Gomez was in his chest, and he couldn't stop him. I mean, he was just being overpowered. And I was somewhat surprised at that. I thought that Arnette would be able to time him coming in, kind of keep him at bay with counter shots. And I thought he would probably be the quicker of the two, but that just wasn't the case. I just think that Gomez was just very dogged, very determined, and he somewhat overwhelmed Arnette. And I got to give Arnette credit, though, because he was just getting hit with some good shots, and he hung in there, and he kept going back. There were times when he was on the ropes and he was catching some big shots. You thought to yourself, is he going to take a knee? Is he going to survive these barrages? And he did. He really did. So we got to give him credit for that. I mean, it was just a good fight overall, but I just think that Gomez basically won the fight clearly, and you know, it was competitive in spots, but Gomez was just, he fought beautifully. You got to give him full credit for that. It was an excellent performance, and as you said, it was a 50-50 fight, but it didn't really look like it when we were watching it. It looked like definitely Gomez was 100% in charge. He was the ring general there. He controlled the pace of the fight, and he carried the day, no doubt.
Yeah, because I agree with you. I think it was the timing that was really imperative to the win on that fight, because it was almost how awkward his timing was, how he would fire shots off, and then some people, like a lot of boxers, like, you know, sit back and kind of reset themselves a little bit. But it was like as soon as he was able to reset, he saw that Arnette would be doing the same thing too, and then he just came in quick again and tried to hit him with those little pop shots. And his power, I think, also was catching Arnette off guard. Because, like, I guess coming into the fight, obviously both haven't had each other's competition or like what they just fought. But I mean, realistically, I think Arnette was just it was almost a little too soon to fight Gomez. But I think both of them really have a bright future ahead of them. I don't think either of them really came out losing.
Well, that's what Bernard Hopkins and Paulie Malignaggi said. It was basically a fight to test each other, to see where they were in the division, to see if they were ready to step up to the next level. And, you know, maybe Arnette does have to go back to the drawing board, definitely.
Well, why do you think they would do that at 13 wins? It seems a little soon for them to, like, test each other against them. Because, like, when you see a 19-19 guy against each other, you're like, oh, okay. You know, that makes a little bit more sense. But at 13-13, you swear they want to develop it. It was like 13-11, right? No.
Arnette and both, I think Gomez improved to 17-0 now, or 16-0, and Arnette drops to 15-1. Someone needs to double check that.
In my opinion, that's about the time, you know, closing in on that, you know, 20 fights. You know, Eddie Gomez is actually 16-0 now, so yeah, that was his 16th win.
And Arnette's 11. It was 11-0 at the time.
And let me just see what Arnette was. Arnette
11-1 now.
11-1 now, yeah. So, you know, it's a situation where you got to applaud both guys, you know, and you got to applaud Golden Boy because stylistically, as you said, a lot of people going in thought this was going to be a 50-50 fight, and so did Golden Boy. And generally, when you put two guys who are evenly matched in the ring together, you have an entertaining, competitive fight. And that's what, you know, Golden Boy was anticipating. And I'm not going to say it was extremely one-sided, but it was a little more wider than I thought it would be. I thought Arnette would win. I know that. I picked him. But you know, even if Gomez were to win, I thought it would be a close fight for either guy. If they, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think one guy would pull away like Gomez did. I thought it was going to be a competitive fight, a more competitive fight than it was. But even though it wasn't as competitive as I anticipated, it was still entertaining, I thought. I thought both guys were digging down deep. They were throwing punches. You know, they were throwing hard punches, and they didn't quit. The fight was fought at a very, you know, quick, moderate to quick pace. There was a lot of lulls in this fight, in my opinion. There was a lot of good ebb and flow, and that's, you know, what the fans want to see, especially if you're leading up to Victor Ortiz and Luis Collazo, because you know how Victor Ortiz fights aggressively, so you want to kind of, you know, get the crowd ready for that by putting on a good performance yourself if you're fighting on the co-main event, which these two guys were, and this was their time to shine. This was their time to shine because you're on television. These guys don't get a lot of face time. So when they do get the face time, they got to make the most of it. And they did, I felt. I felt they really did, both guys. I thought they did great.
Beeb, it's funny, man. I can't believe that you picked Arnette. I picked Gomez, so I guess I got you on that.
Yeah.
But I definitely did not pick Ortiz to get knocked out in the second round, man. But before we go to that, there was a lot of guys on that undercard. Rafael Vasquez, he scored a second-round knockout. He's a 36-year-old journeyman, and he was also on the short list to fight Gary Russell. So now he's calling Gary Russell back out. Gary Russell and Sam Watkins, they're saying they're going for bigger and better things, and that Russell's next fight is definitely going to be a big one. I want to ask everybody that's out there listening and in the chat, please go ahead and use whatever social media you have, whether that be Blogger, Facebook, Twitter, Google, whatever. Share the show. Let people know. We got guys like Slug still calling in the old number, and I'm not picking up. You need to go to blogtalk.com/The Boxing Voice Radio Show and use the Skype there to call in for free, or you can use the telephone number, which is 646-478-3068 to participate in the show. We still have some callers here. No one's pressed 1, and that's fine.
Yes, let me ask you real quick, though. Did you hear anything about, since Russell won that fight, and Mares and Gonzalez is basically off for the time being, do you think they'd fight each other next?
Well, nothing that was told to me sounded solid. Watson didn't want to even give a opponent or a list of possible opponents, but yeah, I'm sure everything is possible, man. I mean, I put Gary Russell under the gun. You know, I let him know about calling out these guys that are signed to Top Rank and things like that. You know, he's wanted a Juan Ma Lopez fight in the past. He's wanted a Orlando Salido fight in the past. And while he is not, I repeat, he is not signed to Golden Boy, he is managed by Al Heyman, and all his fights have been on Golden Boy cards. They're not just going to let him walk away and fight on a Top Rank card unless it's for a world title and the money is right and they get to co-promote or promote it. It's just not going to happen. So Russell needs to cut it out with the bullshit and be real. And Slug needs to stop calling the old number and call the new number. 646-478-3068 is the call-in number. Call in, voice your opinion. Let's talk boxing. We were talking Eddie Gomez and Daquan Arnette. Eddie Gomez showed me a lot of poise, but he also loaded up a lot on his punches, Beeb. And I don't know what's going to happen when he's facing better opposition. He was able to land some really good right hands at will on Arnette, and repeatedly at that when he was trying to get him out of there. But I didn't like how he just threw caution to the wind and was, felt that Arnette was hurt enough to get him out of there when I didn't think Arnette was that hurt. What did you think about the way that he attempted of closing the show? Do you think that he threw caution to the wind and a better counterpuncher would have definitely set him on his rear end?
Well, you got to understand there's a lot of excitement, a lot of anxiety being put in the situation he was in because he was looking to make, a good show of himself. And with all that adrenaline in his body, he's still a young kid learning. So maybe he didn't control the adrenaline. Maybe, he felt the adrenaline. He just went balls to the walls because his blood was boiling at that particular time.
It was also in Brooklyn.
Exactly. And, you got the crowd cheering for you. So I just think he was ignited by the whole situation around him. I think he just was on fire. And you're right. There's going to be a time when you're going to have to curtail that aggression. No question. But I'm going to chalk that up to maybe a little bit of inexperience, maybe caught up in the moment. But you know what's funny is you could see those little things because you have an educated eye for it. And, that's a good quality to have because I see those little things here and there too. But, you say to yourself, I look to the positives, the explosiveness, the power, the punch selection. You know what I'm saying? He made the openings work for him. In other words, sometimes a guy like Arnette isn't going to open up, and you got to kind of force the openings with him. Like some guys will give you stuff. Arnette doesn't give you much. So for Gomez to land shots against a guy like that, he has to have some skill to his game, and he mixes up the punches well. He knows how to open punches up. He can throw punches to kind of get Arnette to react and kind of block a punch here, switch up the hand positioning, and then create an opening that way. Or he can just overwhelm him with volume and eventually go to the body and force Arnette to drop his hands. So yeah, I mean that could work against him against certain fighters, but you would think if it was going to work against him, Arnette would have been that guy that it would have worked against him against because Arnette is crafty. He's the guy that normally can pick up on another guy's aggression and use it against him. And he wasn't able to do that against Gomez. So, there is some credence to what you're saying, but at the end of the day, the base of skills is still there for this kid. I mean, he still has a lot of athleticism. He's still in phenomenal shape. He could fight at a fast pace. He proved that. I mean, he fought the whole 12 rounds at a very fast pace, and he didn't get tired.
It was a 10-rounder, Beeb.
10-rounder, excuse me. So that was a 10-rounder or was it 12? I thought it was for Was it 10? I thought it was for a regional title. My apologies. But he fought the whole 10 rounds at a fast pace, and he didn't look tired at all to me. I thought his stamina was outstanding. So I think, with the experience, he may start to pace himself a little better, but there's still time to learn.
See, when Ness is saying like he thought that he was getting hit a little bit too much, I didn't see that. I saw someone that basically came into the fight that thought he was going to get outboxed, and he just basically said fuck it because the power wasn't there for Arnette. He was able to take the punches, and with the electricity of Brooklyn behind him, I thought he wanted to go for the knockout and try to get this guy. Because if you think about it, you have weeks and weeks of preparation. This is your hardest test to date. So the entire time you're amping yourself up. You get in there, and the dude doesn't hit anywhere near how you thought he was. You're basically saying, fuck it, I'm just going to go in there. I thought if he honestly sat, because I thought if he sat back and he was getting outboxed and the punches were actually coming in a little bit harder, he may have actually been a little bit more tentative, and you'd see a little bit more head movement in him. But I saw a guy that was really like, fuck it, I'm going for the knockout because these punches aren't really doing too much to me. He just wasn't able to do it. I mean, he knocked him down, like you said. At times, you were just like, "Holy shit!" But I think he has a little bit more skill, a little bit more head movement than what we saw. I just think that he just kind of just put caution to the wind and just went out there and tried to go for the knockout.
Well, James, I wasn't saying that he was getting hit a lot. The problem that I had is that what he did to get his man in trouble, he forgot about that immediately after the knockout, and he got the knockout by going to the body. And then he went headhunting afterwards, and it's not going to work like that.
Well, I think he just went headhunting. That's all it was. That was just getting caught up in the adrenaline. I was saying that exactly to my fiance when she was sitting next to me. She loves Eddie Gomez because she's Honduran too. So, but she was just sitting there, and we were like, he needs to go to the body. He just dropped him with the body. For like at least 20 punches, he never even threw to the body.
Well, once he knew that there was nothing coming back at him, like James said, that's the time where you do take chances. You do gamble a little bit. So he realized that he wasn't going to get hurt in there. I mean, obviously anyone can get hurt, but he just didn't feel any pressure. He didn't feel any threat by Arnette's punches because after a while, I just think that the pace of the fight kind of wore Arnette down, and he just really didn't have a lot on his punches. There was nothing he could throw to slow Eddie Gomez down, and Gomez realized that. So that's why he continued to put the foot on the gas pedal. That's just. You got to react you got to react to the situation, and you got to do what you need to do based on what's in front of you at that particular time. And I think based off of that, Gomez made the right choice to be aggressive because it works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if I'm winning all the rounds, doing what I'm doing, why change it?
Mm-hmm. And what James mentioned earlier is absolutely right. He was feeding off the crowd. I mean, I've watched almost all Eddie Gomez fights, and he's always brought a crowd, but he's never gotten a response like he did this past weekend. Somebody going to make me mad. I'm checking iTunes here, and I think we got our first 1-star review. I'm going to find out who that jerk is. Anyway, yeah, he was definitely feeding off the crowd. They were definitely charged. They were definitely cheering for him and feeding into every punch that he would land. So, I don't know. Yeah, Chemo, he is a fucking jerk job. Whoever left that 1-star review, fucking asswipe. I'm pretty sure he's going to say it's because we've been slacking and not been around for so long. That's what it is.
Was it the Queen of England? I imagine she fucking hates you, Ness.
Yeah,
or
right?
all her fighters bums.
Man, all right. So let's see what else was on the undercard. Marcus Browne versus, I don't even know this guy's name, but I've seen him numerous times because I go to these events. These are normal, typical undercard fighters that they use for Golden Boy. And this guy's a tough journeyman. And just like Gomez, I don't know if this was televised or was it on Show Extreme. Well, actually, it wasn't Show Extreme because it was Friday night, Fox Deportes. But so you guys didn't get to see this. The problem I had with Marcus Browne in this fight was the same problem I had with Eddie Gomez, which was they hurt their man. They tried to take him out. They could not take him out. Mm-hmm. And then they just wasted energy and started to look a lot worse than how they looked when they got their man in that trouble. Like, that's what I get upset about. Like, if you hurt a guy to the body or you hurt a guy, you got to jump on top of him, but you can't just throw caution to the wind and not expect nothing to come back. And also, you know, just try to I guess, bowl through the guard of the guy. Like, try and land something flush. Set something up. Throw a couple of jabs to the body. Make him drop his hands. Then come over the top with an overhand right. In Marcus's Browne case, he landed numerous overhand rights, Beeb. But this guy, this tough journeyman, just wouldn't go down. And Marcus Browne was forced to go his first decision and get some rounds. But I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this, and I don't know how you would have, but if you did, or what do you think about Marcus Browne? He's 9-0 with 8 KOs at this point, and he's in the light heavyweight division, but I'm not seeing that upper echelon talent just yet. Is it too soon to assess, Beeb and James?
Well, I mean, again, it's a growing process, and there's always going to be a fight here and there when you're coming up in the ranks, when you're first starting out, when you're still a prospect, that, you may struggle a little bit. And, at the end of the day, he still got the W. He pulled through. So you just chalk it up to learning experience, in my opinion. And, you gotta give the guy some more time to develop. And then, once he gets a little deeper in, 24, 25 fights, 26 fights, then you can stop being a little bit harder on him during, with your assessment. But until he gets to that level, then, if this happens more often than not, if he finds himself just relying on his power too much, not being able to go to plan B, then there's something that they're going to have to do. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board, and they're going to have to try to tweak some things here and there. But as it stands right now, I just chalk it up as a learning experience.
James?
Yeah, man. For me, I've in the last year especially, I've gone buyer beware with every prospect coming out, man. Until they make a step up, I don't judge them either way. They all look good until they either lose or they're ready to actually take a step up. So until Marcus Browne actually does something, takes some serious competition, I mean, I don't know much about him, so I don't know. I can't judge, but I just do buyer beware on every prospect now, man. Until they fight someone that's actually credible or at least of name, and I see how they are, then I don't judge at all. They just exist.
Well,
I mean,
it's not really about judging. It's just watching a fighter come up on the developmental stage. I mean, the first 15 are gimme fights. They're all fights for some sort of learning curve. And when you see a guy, with the physique of a Marcus Browne and with the talent of a Marcus Browne, we got to remember this guy went to the Olympics. It's not a cakewalk to get there. He made it there. Did he medal up? No, but he made it there. And then to see him do mistakes like the way that he was making, I mean, I don't know. He was just opening up so much, Beeb, and kind of overcommitting as well on either the right hand or the left hand. I forgot. I believe he's a southpaw, so it might have been the left hand.
No, he's a southpaw, yeah. He's the left.
Yeah, so he was loading up crazy and landing, but the guy wasn't going anywhere. And to me, it's just annoying. It's like, dude, when do you sit back and see, I'm not getting this guy out of here. He's taking my headshots. Let me go to the fucking body.
You got to give everyone a learning curve, though, going up. Because, I mean, think about someone like Earl Spence. In his fight before last, I just watched it last night again, too, is that dude got rocked. You know what I mean? I think it was in the 7th round when he was going into it. So it's like, and he went to the Olympics, too. So you got to always take it with a grain of salt when you see these prospects. Because you don't know what's going through their head. A lot of times, to their own height, they need to sit down, and they just need to be patient with their growth. So yeah. if he's making mistakes where you're not attacking the head, you're not going to the body, I mean, that just needs to be corrected in the gym. So, I mean, to say in one fight that happened, I can't say that it's going to continue to happen. But, I mean, judging by what you're saying is that he's got a lot of work to do. And just because a guy made it to the Olympics, especially on the United States team, doesn't really necessarily make you a world beater.
All right. Let me go to Ephraim. He's getting impatient. Ephraim, what's going on, brothers?
Well, why y'all looking at these kids, man? Look at Lomachenko, Olympian, and now he's going against Salido. Tell me why they ain't taking that jump.
This conversation, Ephraim. The problem with that is we have to wait to see that happen. I know that it's signed. I know that it is going to happen. But we have to see Lomachenko versus a guy like Salido before we could believe that he's the goods. Just because his promoter believes in him, just because his manager says it, just because you watched him beat a bunch of people in the Olympics, is just a different level of animal, of beast when you get to the pros. And when you skip all those developmental fights as a pro and jump in there with a guy like Salido, while Salido is kind of tailor-made for any good boxer. You've seen what Mikey Garcia did. You've seen what Gamboa did. Lopez was able to get drug into that fight. Will Lomachenko? We don't know. That's what we have to see. But when he gets hit by a real puncher like Salido and has to fight and struggle with adversity, then we'll see how good he is. Till then, I'm not ready to crown him the way that you clearly are already.
2 gold medals ain't an accident, man.
Well, Rigondeaux
had
3 gold medals.
Yeah, but one on was in Beijing. That was a gift.
All right, Zeus Shimming has a bunch of fucking gold medals. How does he look as a fucking pro?
Yeah, he's fucking horrible. But at least he's taking a shot. At least
I'm just not gonna believe all of a fucking sudden that this guy's good. I gotta see him do it. Like I seen Rigondeaux do it. He took 12 fights. Hey, if this guy Lomachenko could do it in one fight versus Salido, that's good. But at the end of the day, he's got to look very good beating Salido because, to me, Salido is flawed and could be outboxed by any decent fighter. Salido has 12 or 13 losses. He's just a tough, rugged guy who's going to add pressure all the fucking time. So we're going to see if Lomachenko can handle pressure. But it's not like after this fight, it's the tell-all, know-all of Lomachenko. It's not. Salido is not that barometer fight. It's definitely a huge step up. I would give him tons of credit if he wins, and how good he looks winning is what's important moving forward. Beeb, your thoughts?
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second.
Hold on, Ephraim. Hold on. Beeb, your thoughts?
Like I said, man, it's all about the learning curve. James alluded to it as well. I mean, it takes time. It just takes time. And the Olympics, when you look back at Mark Breland was a great amateur, great Olympian, and he was a good pro, but he still never reached those expectations that people had of him. I mean, I think he had 1 loss as an amateur. He had I think it was close to 300 amateur fights. I think he only had 1 loss up until that point, and he was just an awesome amateur. And he became a world champion, but he fizzled out quick. He had a short pro career. He started getting knocked out. He got knocked out by Aaron Davis. Got knocked out by some other guys, and he just never reached that height that people thought he was going to reach. So, you could really get hype off these amateur records and the gold medals and this and that, but it's just not the same as the pros. It's just not. It's a different, totally different fight. Different scoring. It's a long fight. You have to work for 10, 12 rounds in the pros when you get to that top level. Whereas when you're an amateur, the fights are short, and you're not always forced to dig down deep. In the pros, you're forced to dig down deep. And if you remember when I used to watch Mark Breland, it was in the later rounds where he would start to falter. He would start out strong, he would always fizzle. So these are the questions that just have to get answered, throughout time. I mean, I don't jump on a guy just because he got a gold medal. That's not the end all of being a good pro. Many fighters don't have gold medals that are great, excellent. I mean, Floyd Mayweather doesn't have a gold medal, and he's the best in the world. So I don't put a ton of stock in that. I mean, does it mean something? Absolutely, but it's not everything.
Ephraim, go ahead. Ephraim? All right. Well, moving forward, I guess we'll talk about Gary Russell. Since we spoke about Rafael Vasquez calling him out, I interviewed Gary Russell this Thursday night at the Victor Ortiz Luis Collazo fight. Very short guy.
Yeah, it's tiny.
But he still wants the big fights. But my problem is the fact that he continues to call out guys from top rank, Beeb. I just don't know. I don't know if I could get behind a guy that's calling out fighters constantly that he knows can't fight him. So I mean, to the casual fan or the ignorant fan, he looks like a tough guy. He has all the skills. He's beating up certain people, but he's not stepping up, and they're giving him a pass. I'm tired already. I mean, I think this guy is 24-0 or 28-0. I mean, Broner at 28-0 fought Maidana, DeMarco, Paulie Malignaggi, which, yeah, he's not going to knock out, he's not going to knock out Adrian Broner, but at least he's going to give some world-class skill in there. He's going to force him to use, dodge a jab and whatnot, and just a different look, but on a higher level. This guy, on the other hand, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Well, there just doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency with him himself. Like, he's not the type of guy to call guys out. He's not calling for any big names. He's just basically putting it in the hands of his team. So this is the problem I have with a lot of these fighters today. It's always, well, ask my manager, and that's all well good. I mean, you have a great management team. They're there to get you the fights you need to get, and they're there to kind of guide you throughout your career and help you make the good decisions. But as you said, Gary Russell Jr. has 24 fights. He's 24-0. And you go up and down this resume, and there's not one recognizable name on there. Not one. I mean, these guys, if you look at their records, I mean, 23-11, 15-7. Those are the last two fights. It just doesn't make sense. And we could say that he's talented and he's got all the gifts in the world, but it's not going to really be shown through fighting a guy like Juan Ruiz or Miguel Tamio. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a guy running on a treadmill at 3 miles an hour, and he's continuing to run on a treadmill at 3 miles an hour. Obviously, your body gets used to that, and you're really not getting a good workout. You're not working up a sweat. You're not burning any fat doing that. So your body gets used to it. So then when you do turn that treadmill up to 6 miles an hour, 8 miles an hour, you're shocking your system. Your body's like, oh, wow, what the hell's going on here? So if you're going to continue to be on that 3 mile an hour pace, you're not doing yourself any good. You're not honing your skills. You're not giving yourself time to develop. You're not seeing what you really have. You don't even know what you really have because you've never been forced to go to the upper threshold. You've never been forced to dig down deep. No one's really even hurt this guy. He's hurt himself. The worst thing that happened to him is he breaks his hand. I mean, and he's on layoffs. But he's never faced adversity in the ring. You know what I'm saying? He's faced adversity due to injuries to himself and having to come back for that. Whenever I see a situation like this, in the back of my mind, I'm saying to myself, there's got to be some type of reservation with his team. They have to see something in him that makes them a little wary about throwing him in there tough. Because you look at a guy like Lomachenko fighting for the title in his second fight. You look at a guy like Rigondeaux, they threw him in there with tough opposition. He was a champion real early in his career as well. And you look at guys like Gary Russell, and even you look at guys like Gennady Golovkin, and you say, how good are these guys? We don't really know because they've been running on the treadmill at 3 miles an hour. What's going to happen when they're forced to run at 6 miles an hour, 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour? So I don't know. It's just this whole situation with Gary Russell seems very peculiar to me. What's holding them back?
Well, he was on the undercard, and as always, he looked great. Super fast, super power, very calm demeanor in and out of the ring. I mean, this guy is one of the most likable people you're going to get to meet. All the signs look like yes, but I will not be fooled. You will not look dazzling in front of mediocre competition and fool me. I need to see you in the ring with someone. But he did what he had to do. He got the win. And this year they have promised us a big fight with Gary Russell Jr., so I will be waiting. On the main event of that card, before we move into news and notes, Victor Ortiz, Luis Collazo. Collazo took Victor Ortiz into the second round and scored a knockout, which to me was fucking bananas because I didn't think that Collazo could knock anyone out, let alone, knock out Victor Ortiz. I mean,
Ortiz.
Before I get into my thoughts, because I was there live, so I have a lot of different stories to say. Beeb, James, take it away. Tell me what did you think, and a little bit about the fight.
I predicted Collazo going into the fight. I think when the show was Beeb, but I mean, I had no idea he was going to knock him out. I mean, coming into the fight, like when you kind of watch it, hindsight's 20/20, but at the same time, it's like the way I rationalized Collazo really beating Ortiz was that Ortiz already had that kind of quitter heart going into the fight. Then he took a year and a half off, did Dancing with the Stars and Expendables, and now I'm to believe that he came back and he's a tougher, harder fighter. I just didn't see it happening at all. And I thought Collazo was a real live dog. He had the fight with Ricky Hatton that people thought he won or lost, and then same thing with Andre Berto. So I mean, he was real. He was a live dog in there. I feel like Victor let Collazo beat him in that fight, because I believe that if this was Ortiz prior to Berto, he probably would have beat him. But the Ortiz of nowadays is not his. I could tell you, when we interviewed him before, like the week or two before, his head was not in it, man. He was there for the media. It wasn't the fight. It was the glam of the fight. So that's what I saw, and when I saw him quit, I'm done with that man. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm just done with him.
Going into the fight, I thought that Ortiz still had the question mark. Obviously, he kind of resigned in fights before, so once you do it more than one time, it's always going to be there in the back of your mind that if you're pushed to that level again, when you turn the corner and you enter that dark room, some people can bust that door open and get out of that dark room. Other people they cower in fear of the darkness, so to speak. And basically that's what Ortiz did. I mean, came out strong, and he really, really, led me to believe that he was going to be aggressive. And he was aggressive going into the second round. And, he got caught with that one shot on the jaw, that same jaw, in the same fashion that Josecito Lopez hit him, with the hook. But this was a right hook coming from the other angle. And once I think he got caught with that shot, started having flashbacks of Josecito Lopez. And he said to himself, probably in the back of his mind, and obviously I'm just paraphrasing here because I don't know what's in his head, but I'm just speculating that he said to himself, I am not going to get put through this again and have have to deal with swallowing my own blood and having to be forced to be with a long layoff again if this guy breaks my jaw, because I think that was going through his mind. And when he was on the canvas, you could see him still reacting to the punches being thrown at him as he lifted, his hands up to try to block the shots. He still had his faculties within there. You know what I'm saying? He still had his faculties about him. So, it looked like he resigned again. But I going into the fight, I just didn't think that Collazo would have that power to take him back to that dark place. I didn't think you'd be able to hurt him like that and make him second guess himself and make him, be put in a position where he would quit again. And I hate to use that word quit, but what he did this was the most obvious case of it. The other times you could say, hey, he was really, because is deep into the fights when he resigned earlier in his career. This was real early. Like, he didn't even give himself a chance. Like, isn't it? I mean, I'm going to come out and say it real, very controversially. There's no doubt in my mind that he could have got up and continued to fight. At least at that point in time in career. And I sound like an asshole saying that because it's not me and they're taking the shots, but I have to go by what I see. When I see a guy still moving his head around, lifting his arms up when he's on his knees, trying to block the shots that are still coming at him, that's not a guy who's separated from his faculties. That's a guy who is still, have his wits about him. He could still fight. And if he's able to do that, then he could get up. There's no doubt in my mind he couldn't have got up. That he could have got up. I knew he could have got up. He didn't want to get up, and that just goes back to that mentality. I don't deserve to be hit like this, or to have to endure this punishment like I did. He was probably thinking of the Expendables. He was probably thinking of Dance with the Stars. Hey, I could go back to that. I don't need this anymore. And, it's very aptly fit that De La Hoya tweeted out he should retire, because guess what? He should retire. He needs to stop. Mentally, he doesn't want to do this anymore. He's just not in. His heart is not in it. So with that being said, we don't want to take anything away from Luis Collazo, because Luis Collazo basically was relaxed the whole fight, saw everything that was coming at him, and he knew that opening was going to be there. You could just sense it within him that he knew that, that opening was going to be there. He knew
he needs his aggression, though.
Yeah, he knew that Ortiz was going to give him that opportunity, and he was confident that when it was there, I'm going to make it count, and that's what he did. And I didn't see it coming at all. If you were to tell me this would have happened, this would have been the least percentage of scenarios that I would have thought would have happened. I never would have thought this. I could never. If I was to bet this fight, I would have definitely bet the over. You know what I'm saying? and I would have lost.
Just for fun, who did you give that first round to? Because I thought it was a close round. I gave it to Collazo because I thought Ortiz wasn't landing as much as he seemed he was.
I almost wanted to give it to Collazo, but I gave it to Ortiz by default.
Did you?
Because both guys didn't land anything. But I almost did give it to Collazo. I'm going to honestly say the first round could have went either way, but I did give it to Ortiz. But if you told me you gave it to Collazo, I'm not going to say, hey, wow, why'd you do that? Because there's a case that could be made that could have happened.
For me, it was fucking shocking. I mean, I know Luis Collazo is a tough, rugged guy, and I interviewed Paulie, and everyone heard what he said and how much credit he gave Collazo for being a tough fighter, and the fact that we didn't know about him was because we didn't see him, because the networks kept him from us, and yada, yada, yada. But I seen Collazo Berto. I seen Collazo Ricky Hatton. I seen Collazo Freddie Hernandez. Like, I didn't expect that Collazo, any version of Collazo, would knock out Victor Ortiz. I expected that Collazo would bring some, toughness into this fight, but I thought that he would lack the pop. And then when he caught this man and didn't drop him, but buckled his legs, and Victor Ortiz kind of went into the seated position, giving his back to his opponent, which is automatic no-no, he got his balance, and Collazo did what any boxer would do, and he jumped on his man, and he hit him once, kind of behind the head, ear area, which is totally fucking legal. You shouldn't have your back to your opponent anyway. And Ortiz then doesn't go down, but after the second punch, he goes down, and he doesn't fall as if he was knocked out. He went into a doggy-styled fucking position.
Fucking dog.
I've never seen a man get knocked out. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I don't remember a guy getting knocked out, not making a 10 count, like, still so conscious the way that he was.
When I
interviewed him, one second, Pete. Do you think it's a testament of how good Collazo is, or how unexpected, how good he was, or do you think it was a testament of how diminished Ortiz was?
A little bit of both.
No, I think I'm going to blame it all on Victor Ortiz while still giving Collazo tremendous amounts of credit. I want him to get whatever's coming to him, possibly Keith Thurman, which is a super tough fight for him, but then that would be my barometer, because I can't use this as a barometer, but I'll still give him credit, because this version of Victor Ortiz clearly has a mental issue. That was not a knockout. Like, fuck out of here. Collazo didn't knock him out. He didn't want to fight.
You know what it reminded me of? When you were a kid and your dad came at you, he was getting ready to spank you, and he started hitting you a little bit, and you just cower, and you tuck your head in between your hands, and you kind of curl up in a ball and stuff. That's what that looked like to me. I mean, and I hate to be derogatory and insult the guy, but that just that looked basically like I don't want to do this anymore.
Like you say, ouch before the punch.
Yeah, I mean, this is like basically your dad coming to beat you up, and you're curling up into a little ball on the canvas. That's what that looked to me. And again, I'm never the one to criticize a fighter, because it takes guts to do what they do. But I don't know, man. I mean, at this level, I'm just not used to seeing that. Not from a world-class fighter, not from a former champion. And you would think that he did it before so much. He got so much flack for it, and you would think that he would say to himself, like, I don't want to go through this again. Like, remember when Devin Alexander had that incident with Bradley? Then he was put in another situation with Matisse where he was supposed to have that gut check moment again, and he rose to the occasion. I thought he lost the fight, but he fought like a champion. He went out, he went the whole fight. And it looked at points where he could have quit. He could have went down. He could have wilted under the pressure of Matisse, but he hung in there. He got knocked down. He got up. He didn't quit. And a lot of people thought he quit in Bradley. And he even said to himself, he said to the fans, even in interviews, I have to prove to people that I'm not a quitter. I have to show people that I can, withstand adversity. And he proved that in the Matisse fight, in his next fight. And ever since then, even in the Porter fight, I mean, he was pushed to the limit. Porter was pressuring him, and he looked uncomfortable in there. But guess what? He still fought. He didn't give up. And you would have thought that Victor Ortiz would have said to himself, you know what, I have to repair myself. I have a lot of damage control here. I have to show these people what I'm about, that I do have heart, that I can continue to fight on through adversity. And, you know, doing what he did in that second round, that just dispels all of that. And you really, I hate to say this, you really can't take him serious as a contender ever again after what happened the other night. No way.
I agree.
It's over. It's over. I'm sorry. It's over.
The funniest thing, Beeb, is that he said he's going to continue his boxing career.
And I almost dropped to the floor when I heard him say that.
Rocky 7, maybe. Rocky 7, he'll be in that new Creed movie coming up or something, but no way. There's no,
and
who can he fight? Who could possibly fight him?
He's still being treated like a star. I mean, dude, I got totally lucky, right? I seen him when he was coming into the commissioner's office to, you know, whatever they do before the fight. I got there early. So I tried to interview him right then and there, and he was like, no, you know, he had to get back to his dressing room and get dressed and, you know, warm up. I said, all right, man, make sure you give me 2 minutes. Even in defeat, this is why I still think, like, he has me fucked up. I don't know what's wrong with Victor Ortiz. I don't know if he's mentally unstable because of all the time that he quits, or is it just some fucking freak in nature?
He's in denial, Nestor.
What's going on?
He has an ability to lie to himself.
But
he has
listen
an ability
to this,
to lie to
listen to my point.
Okay,
listen to my point. The thing is, that's why I'm confused, because a guy that doesn't take boxing serious and quits whenever he has the opportunity because this is just financial for him and he knows that and he's not worried about legacy, then why would he have the mental capacity to, even in defeat, when I tried to get my interview, his whole little entourage was like, no interviews, and, like, you know, had their hands up the way they would do any star coming out of or coming into a crowded group room. And I was like, yo, Victor, you ain't gonna give me my 2 minutes? And then I said it in Spanish, and he turned around, he was like, oh yeah, bro, I did promise you 2 minutes. Come on. And he gave me my fucking 2 minutes.
Yeah, but that's, you have you know, you and I already talked about that. You just got a way of getting these interviews, man. You get interviews that a lot of people can't get. I mean, I'm not trying to kiss your ass on radio, but that's a skill that you have. But going back to what I'm saying, you know, this guy has an ability to kind of justify things in his head. You know, he loses and he laughs about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in his mind, and then he tells people, well, Victor, when you asked him, Victor, you know, you look like you could have got up. You look like you were all right. And he said, no, man, I didn't know where I am. Like, he has a defense mechanism already in place to kind of justify his behavior. Like, he knew he could have got up. He chose not to. And that's fine. If that's the case, then that's the case. But he has an ability to justify it by lying to himself. And he's almost to the point now where he may be even believing his own lies. And that's all right. That's kind of a sickness. He may need therapy. There is something wrong mentally with that guy, I believe. I'm just being honest.
I agree with you, man. He has me
something
confused,
is unstable there.
Let's wrap up the Ortiz Collazo by passing it off to James. We've been talking about this card, which is the only card. That's why we gave it so much attention. We're almost, I believe, an hour into the Fox Sports Deportes card, but we got a lot of news to talk about. A lot of things happening both Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday in Puerto Rico, you already know Danny Garcia is going to be heading off his press tour. Then you got Tuesday in Los Angeles, Tim Bradley and Manny Pacquiao heading off their press tour. I'm going to get into that a little more. Definitely upset with the fact that Pacquiao's name is the headline again. Not the headline of the show. We know that he's supposed to be. But, I mean, instead of it saying the poster, Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao, it's Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley, which totally fucking irks me. But James, give us your final thoughts on this Ortiz-Collazo situation so we can wrap it up, because there's a lot of shit to talk about.
One more time, man. You broke up real quick there. Sorry, man. What's up?
Are you serious?
Yeah, you broke up like a little robot for a second there. I think that's more on my internet, though, to be honest with you. Every once in a while it goes through that weird robot phase. All
right, hold on a minute. B, did I break up at all for you?
No, you sounded fine to me.
So it's got to be you, James. So basically, I just want your wrap up on Ortiz-Collazo.
Yeah, there's really not much more to be said, man, to be honest with you. Victor Ortiz, in my opinion, quit. It's funny you say he's such an awesome dude, and that dude gives me fucking attitude. I hate that dude. I picked against him to honestly just pure spite, and then I kind of built a case around it. I happened to be right, so I was cool with it, but whatever. That's all I have to say. It sucks that I wasn't able to see a full fight from Collazo to see if he's going to be able to do anything against Thurman. Because if you say, like, if you think that's even a rumor or that could be possible next, I mean, I couldn't even begin to pick Collazo because I have no idea what he's going to be like. If you gave me 8 rounds of Ortiz, maybe I have had more of an opinion. But, I mean, as of right now, it's just kind of like what you see with Deontay Wilder. He got him out. You're just going to have to see him in the next fight.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. It's going to be hard assessing Collazo with this, but I'm going to give him total credit, like I said. But moving on, in the chat, Kamuk182. I don't know, maybe that's a new screen name of an old listener or a new listener with a new screen name. But he wants to talk the Monaco card. I did not see Triple G. Definitely not. I wasn't like gonna stop what I was doing to watch Triple G fight somebody that we knew he was gonna lose to. I'm gonna have to take this call, babe. I'm sorry. Slug, listen closely. I'm doing this as a one-time. I'm picking up on this end, but we are now using Blog Talk. The call-in number is 646-478. You can even go to the Twitter. It's all over Twitter. I've been tweeting it all night.
646.
Oh God. 478.
478.
30.
Go ahead.
3068. All right, call in over there, brother. And all you got to do is press 1 if you want to talk.
All right, got you.
Don't say we don't love you over here at the Boxing Voice. See, Beeb, that's what I'm saying. I think we're going to have to keep this old Skype open and just do that periodically till we transition. So far, everything's running good on my end.
It's a backup. I mean, it's good that you do that. That's a courtesy from you. And that, like, with me, I didn't have the setup to do it Thursday because if I picked up, it would block me out of the.
Absolutely. But I feel that since we have the opportunity to do it, we might as well do it.
You're exactly right. I agree with you.
All right, so let me see here. We got to talk about this Danny Garcia situation. I know I got something in here, give you guys some hardcore facts and numbers, but I guess while I do that, we can't talk about Garcia without a little bit.
Okay, we rolling. You ain't popping no champagne. You ain't popping no champagne. You ain't hopping no damn plane. Okay, we rolling. Hey.
Yes, sir, we're rolling, and where we're rolling, destination, the pretty blue water of Puerto Rico, the beautiful sands. Oh, my God, I was there at the Wyndham. It's a beautiful place. I know you guys are not big on this fight, and until you can call in on 646-478-3068, press the number 1 and tell me who's a better opponent for Danny Garcia than Herrera right now in his division that he can fight. One more courtesy call coming up, Lukey, baby. Lukey, what's up? Lukey, we're on Blog Talk, man. Can you follow the link on Blog Talk? There's a show number over there, brother. All right, well, I hope you heard that. So, Beeb, yeah, man, Puerto Rico is the destination. Herrera is the opponent. Deontay Wilder versus Scott is the undercard. Manuel Lopez versus who the fuck is he fighting?
Ponce de Leon.
Hold on, we got Luke again. Luke, you there?
Yeah. Sorry, bro. I'm a little drunk.
Listen to me. We're using Blog Talk now. Can you go to that page over there and use that cell phone number over there? It's a 646.
Yeah. I'll use that.
All right, bro. So, yeah, man. James, I'm going to throw it to you first. Is Herrera a bad opponent? Is there a better opponent out there? And the fact that Danny Garcia Herrera press tour starts Tuesday in Puerto Rico, head-to-head with Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley's press tours, which starts Tuesday in Los Angeles. By the way, you never got back to me, man. You were able to get that time or not?
No, man. No, I wasn't. There's 2 other people requested off in my work, unfortunately. But
All
if you
right,
want to dive into
your
Herrera,
thoughts.
man, that dude's tough as fuck, man. People are stupid if they don't think this is a good fight. The dude is like, he went life and death with Alvarado. That was a great fight. I was there. That was on the undercard of Rios versus Abril. And then also he beat Provodnikov. So, I mean, like exactly like how you said, man, if you could get a better opponent, you let me know. But as of right now, I like Mauricio Herrera. I think that's a tough fight. He's not going to knock him out, so that's going to be cool. You're going to see Danny Garcia go 12 rounds. I can almost guarantee that.
Beeb, your thoughts?
I have absolutely no problems with the fight, and if anyone has a problem with it, they have to really, really look at the situation and look at the circumstances. At this particular time, who else could Danny Garcia fight? I mean, he's not going to be able to fight any of the top rate guys because we already know the answer to that and the reason why behind that. Let me ask you this: would it have been a good move to maybe have a rematch with Matisse because that fight was kind of entertaining and it was somewhat competitive on the scorecards? Could that have been a possible option or not? Would you have been against that, or do you think that would have been a stupid move, or do you think that Danny needs a fight like this? Maybe a guy that's slick, skillful, just a different look, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that in that regard that this is a good fight because of that? But I mean, I don't think a Matisse rematch would have been a bad option either. I think that would have been a good fight, in my opinion. But I have absolutely no problem with Herrera at all, none. I agree. I know you jumped on Vic about this, but even Hank Lundy, I like Hank Lundy. I think Hank Lundy's a very good fighter.
Yeah, but no way, no fucking way. At 140, Hank Lundy jumps from 135 after losing to Beltran and gets a shot at a fucking 3 titles? Hell no. The ring, the WBA, and the fucking WBC? No fucking way. It ain't fair. Mauricio Herrera doesn't deserve a shot either, but, again, he's the only guy that hasn't got a shot outside of a Rios and Alvarado, and a Mayfield that are all signed atop rank. Who else at 140 right now deserves it?
Is available too. It's not even just who deserves it; it's more who's available. Other than Matisse rematch right now, anyway. I think you can let that stew for a little bit longer. Let Matisse go through whoever, Pablo Cano or whoever he's rumored to go with. But I think that could be a lot better in the future. But right now, I don't think so. And I honestly don't think that rematch is ever going to happen. I think Garcia is going to go up while Matisse stays down at 140 and just kind of dominates that division for a while.
Yeah,
not to mention. Hold on a minute, Beeb. Not to cut you off. I just want to also piggyback off of James and say that Sam Watson said he's not fighting until May anyway. And again, I got to interrupt you, Beeb. Let me make one more courtesy call. 832. We're now on Blog Talk. We're giving the platform a try. Please call 646-478-3068. You can listen there. You can press 1 if you want to talk. All right, my friend? Or follow our Twitter. We have all the on Twitter.
Give me that number one more time.
Oh God. 646. 478-3068.
All right, thanks, bro.
All right. See, we're gonna have to do that, man. We're gonna have to be nice.
Well, it is what it is. It's a transition.
It's a transition, and we got a ton of callers in the queue. If you want to talk, press 1. Give me your opinion. You know that this show is the voice of the people. We need you to voice that opinion. I see people, I guess maybe now they change things, Beeb. I guess if you got a question mark next to your number, you do want to speak. And we got one question mark here. And actually, this is a guy we all know. So I'm going to have you, caller, not speak just yet. Let Beeb finish his statement that I cut him off. Beeb, go ahead.
I mean, actually, what I was going to say, I'm trying to remember. I think James made a great point because we may see a rematch with Matisse and Peterson before we see a rematch between Garcia and Matisse too. Because again, Peterson's gonna need to kind of get that. He's going to have to try to get his stock up a little bit. He's going to need a big name opponent to do that. And if he doesn't get Garcia, then we may see him against Batiste, but anything could happen because Peterson's name has been floating around for Garcia as well too. So who knows?
I think that'd be a good fight, though.
And someone just said, "Who gives a fuck about Peterson?" in the chat, and you know what? You know, people like to write guys off after a knockout loss, and I wouldn't do that with Peterson just yet, guys. I mean, Peterson can still box, man. He can still fight.
Not only that, Beeb, but Peterson, he took on Matisse. He's calling Matisse back out. He wants a rematch, and on top of that, since Zab Judah, which is a horrible analogy that I have to use, you guys know how I feel about Judah, and Judah, I'm sorry. I know that you love us, which was shocking. But, Judah was the last undisputed 140-pounder ever. So Danny is attempting to do that in a way because
I think Judah was undisputed at 147, but Judah, I think, had like 2 belts at 140. But he never unified the whole division.
Okay, so it was at 147, but the point was that he unified and he became the undisputed. And this is kind of a way that Danny can do that, even though Ruslan has the WBO. But he's with Banner. Maybe when he gets rid of all those top rank, what do you call those options? Maybe that can happen. But now, calling in on the new platform.
If I was at the club, you know I balled. Chemo.
Yeah, you didn't honestly think I was going to watch the Super Bowl, right?
You fucking fooled the shit out of me.
I told them all the European people. I told the UK people we're not going to watch the Super Bowl. I told them that.
Yeah, man. I watched like 5 seconds of these idiots with helmets running around, and then I switched it off, man. Fuck that shit. But, yo, quickly, man. Ness, how can you say Salido is not a barometer fight, man? That was a bit shocking to me.
Yeah, but Chemo, because Salido can be outboxed. And he's lost 13 times. What do you mean? Like, we know that he can lose.
Okay, but a lot of those losses are in the past, though. If you look at the current...
No, but see, and you guys always want to hate on me with these European fighters, and this time I gave him credit. I said, if he beats Salido, he absolutely gets credit from me, but it's not the barometer that I need as a true boxing fan, already knowing that Orlando Salido is flawed and can be easily outboxed.
To me, Salido is the perfect barometer when it comes to like fighting in the pros, because he actually has more of a professional style, and he fights hard for the 12 rounds. And to be honest, right now, I think I know he had a lot of losses when he was younger as well, because he turned pro so early, but nowadays, I think he's very tough to beat, and I know it takes a few special guys in order to be able to achieve that. So I'm going to give him a shitload of credit. And by the way, I'm picking Salido in this fight.
It takes a special guy to beat Salido? Who gives a fuck? Fuck out of here, man. Fuck about your feelings. I definitely don't give a fuck about Chemo's fucking feelings. Chemo, I'm going to get him mute you and use my motherfucking new switchboard and go...
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
No, I'll be back to you, Chemo. What you mean? You know you get love on this show, but I got to use this new switchboard, man. It's like I'm driving a Lamborghini right now. Anyway, you're muted. Talk to that. 202, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who is this?
Hey, Ness, it's World Rank. Can you hear me?
I'm World Rank. What's going on, baby? How you like the switch? I know that it's probably not the best, but I think that the switchboard definitely helps us out. But, man, we're talking anything you want to talk about. Topic was Herrera, Garcia, and Chemo happened to bring up, again, Lomachenko, Salido. What's up, man?
What's up, man? The switchboard thing is good because I think a lot of times, even though the show is good, a lot of times we talk over each other. So by being able to put people on hold, it's a good thing because we can't hear all the points on the early side.
All right.
I want to talk about, and I was the one last week when I called in last week, I was the one, I know I was getting shitted on for this, but I was the one who was saying Johan Perez. And what I was saying was, and you were telling me, you was like, well, he was a WBA interim champ at 140. I'm like, yeah, the full champ is who, Les?
Who's the interim?
Johan is the interim. The full champ is who?
But what is the interim of?
The WBA 140 title.
Oh, all right. Well, when his mandatory shot comes, Danny will lace him. What you mean? Like, we never even heard.
But get him right now, though. I mean, get him out the way right now because he's the same as Mauricio Herrera and actually has a reason to take. There's a reason for the fight.
Hold on a minute, World Rank. Listen to what you're saying. You're complaining about Herrera, but yet you want to a completely unknown fighter to fight Danny, you guys will give him more shit. Say he's ducking everybody.
No, what I'm saying is it's a meaning for the fight. If you're going to take a stay busy fight, at least take a fight that has meaning. Don't just go grab somebody from ESPN.
Just yet. So why even give that dude a payday in losing if his mandatory shot is not up yet? This guy's nobody. He hasn't done nothing.
People
his
make mandatories all the time, even when they not due. If it makes sense on a financial level and on a business level.
Doesn't make sense. You know what makes sense as a promoter? A comfort fighter in Herrera who's known for action with a good timing counterpuncher with a big punch in Danny Garcia. Eventually, he's going to hook Herrera, and that's the way they want it to go, and that's the way I want it to go. I want Herrera to charge in like he always does, like he did with Ruslan, like he did with Mike Alvarado against the ropes. I want Danny to fucking tuck, keep his hands high, catch one, and shoot. Dangerous.
Does he deserve the fight? That's more of the point.
Ass sleep. I know Chemo said nobody's knocked him out and he's not getting knocked out, or that was James. The point is, I want Danny to knock him out and send a statement.
What level fighter is Mauricio Herrera in your opinion? Is he a world-class fighter?
I always said he was a C-class fighter, and especially when I was shitting on Ruslan, he was my barometer, so there's no way I could say he's any better than a C just because he's fighting Danny, because I would look like a complete fool.
But we don't know what Johan Perez has. I've seen him 3 times. He's been on a couple of Showtime undercards.
Versus
and
who?
I saw him against Fat Story. He was fighting
versus who?
Some Japanese guy. I know his name, but he's a nobody. He's a nobody, but he was undefeated. He was undefeated, and I guess Johan fought somebody else. I can't remember who else he fought. Then he fought Fat Story. He earned the title shot.
I know how he looks.
It doesn't matter.
Listen, that motherfucker. Beeb got the best statement for him.
He wants the title shot at the Beeb. He's not even ranked. He wants the title shot at the Beeb.
Yo, Johan Perez is not even ranked. Tell that motherfucker, ask the WBA to force his mandatory, and then we give him a shot. 202, I'm going to place you back on hold because I'm loving it, and I'm moving forward to 513. We're talking Danny Garcia versus Herrera, live in Puerto Rico from Bayamon. 513, you're live. Who's this? Where you calling from?
Cincinnati.
What up? What up? Who's this?
Will, Trey Cade.
Will, what's going on, brother? Where you calling from?
Calling from Cincinnati, Trey Cade.
Cincinnati in the building. What's going on, brother? So what do you want to talk about, man? We're talking Danny Garcia and Herrera in Puerto Rico. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, that's all good with Danny Garcia. I know that's Ness's boy, but I kind of wanted to holler on Adrian Broner, you know, the home of Tony Tubbs, the home of Ezra Charles, the home of Aaron Pryor, and go on and on and on about the possibility of him and Maidana fighting again is what I wanted to talk about.
All right, well, before you talk about that, I need you to listen to this.
I'm a fighter. If I go on, I know I can beat anybody. If I go on, then what they say, at least Maidana beat him. You know, I'm the closest thing to Floyd Mayweather, so since I took my loss, everybody feel like Floyd Mayweather took a loss.
What the fuck is wrong with Cincinnati? What the fuck do you got in your water that caused that man to say that bullshit? Because he lost.
Man, let me tell you something, man. I went and seen Adrian Broner down at the U.S. Bank Arena a couple times last year before he started going to Atlantic City and Vegas. Adrian Broner, he believed in his own motherfucking hype. And that's what happened to Ricardo Williams and everybody that come out of Cincinnati. If Adrian Broner fight Maidana again, he going to get his ass whooped because he ain't going to listen to his corner. And I met Gary Russell. Y'all was talking about Gary Russell earlier. I met him. He was on the undercard in Cincinnati with Adrian Broner. I shook his hand out. Let me tell you something, man. His hand's so small, he probably got to hold a damn 12-ounce can with 2 hands and shit. That's how small his hands is. And these motherfuckers think because they rolling with Al Heyman that they got the golden brick road to the championship. I picked Ortiz to get his ass whooped. I made a point on Twitter. If you remember, Lennox Lewis was in Ocean's 12. After he did that shit, he got knocked the fuck out. Tommy Morrison was in Rocky V. After that, he got knocked the fuck out. It seemed like every boxer, once they go in these fucking movies, they start getting knocked the fuck out. That could be with Adrian Broner with this rap shit. I like what the Charlo brothers said. You know, you're going to be a boxer or you're going to motherfucking rap. Either you're going to be a boxer or you're going to be an actor. You can't do both. You got to commit to the craft. And the problem with Adrian Broner is he think he's bigger than he actually is. He ain't got nothing on his resume. And I think he need a whole change in environment. He needs to change his motherfucking team, the whole nine. Because he stepped back in with Maidana. It's a motherfucking wrap.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for speaking your piece. And if you haven't done so, you most definitely must, as a listener, head on over to iTunes, drop us a 5-star review.
Don't do that. Got to get props to Vic. Vic know who the fuck I am. Got to get props to Vic. Boogie Down, Sean, Dream. What up with y'all? Holler back, Ness.
All right, brother.
Ness.
Yeah, baby.
Can you just, I hate to interject here, but just remind everyone to come over to the Blog Talk Radio and follow us here on Blog Talk as well. The same
Absolutely. B makes a great point.
Come over and follow us here too, man.
Yeah, you follow us here. This way you know, because you just never know. Look, what we're trying to do is continue what we've always done, and that's produce 2 shows per week. And you just never know which platform we're going to go on right now. We're test driving Blog Talk. Today it sounds great. I'm going to go back and listen to the show on podcast and know, but it's working great right now. So we're going to go ahead and go to our next caller, which is Live. That's his name. What's up, Live?
It's MB2, man. What's up?
What up, my friend?
Yeah, man. I just called to talk about Victor Ortiz, but I can talk about Danny Garcia as well if you want.
No, you talk about whatever you want. You know that.
Nice. I just wanted to say that Danny Garcia is like the most flawed technical fighter I've ever seen, man. He gets, like I said, I called him last show, and I said that Victor Ortiz smothers his own punches. He gets too close to fighters. And against Andre Berto and against Floyd Mayweather, they would just kind of bob and weave the punch, you straight left, and then come back with a right hand. And that's what Louis Collazo done, man. He was waiting for the left, and he kind of weaved it, and then he kind of hit Ortiz with a right. And man, I thought Golden Boy cashed out. I thought that was like a really fucking hard fight after 18 months out the ring. I was wondering what you thought about that, Nez, whether you thought that maybe Golden Boy didn't like what they were seeing with Victor Ortiz and just decided, okay, we've got the Barclays Center, we need a fighter, we need another fighter that could, sell tickets in New York.
Well, MV2, I'll stop you right there and tell you that I totally agree with you, and I don't know about my co-host, but now that you bring it up, I never thought about it, but with the recent tweet of Oscar De La Hoya, or the news of Oscar De La Hoya recommended that Victor Ortiz retire, this most definitely smells like a cash out. I just don't understand, if they're cashing out on Victor Ortiz, why treat him so nicely? He was treated like a super duper star. He had an entourage, he had security detail, he had numerous representatives at his beck and call. It was something fit for a king. James Beebe, your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I think the story behind Luis Collazo is kind of fun, man. He's been robbed twice in previous fights, and now he's knocked out Victor Ortiz. If you want to say it's a cash-out fight, it could kind of make sense because you get all these people watching that would have no idea who Luis Collazo is. Now he just knocked out Victor Ortiz. So all these people that watch Dancing with the Stars that have no idea any other fighter's name other than Victor Ortiz because he was on the show now know who Luis Collazo is. So overnight, you made a man go from nothing to a star in the eyes of all the other people. He essentially took all the fame that Ortiz has and took it for himself. And he's a legit fighter, too. So, I mean, I kind of agree that it could have been kind of a cash-out fight. If they knew that he wasn't going to come back 100%, that very well could be the fact that it could be a cash-out fight. But I don't know. That would sound like more like speculation. But, I mean, I thought Victor Ortiz would lose the fight, but to say it was like that, and I mean, there's no way I would have predicted that.
I don't know. I don't know because it seemed to me like Golden Boy felt that Victor Ortiz was going to win. They were already talking about fights down the road for him after this fight with Collazo. So I think everyone except for James now. Well, James was still shocked, but he picked Collazo to win. But most everyone I spoke to thought Ortiz was going to win this fight. I think if we were to do a poll on this, I would say at least 85% would have picked Ortiz. So I think Golden Boy, to say that this was a cash out for Victor Ortiz, I don't know. I may have to disagree with that. I think that they thought Victor Ortiz was going to win this fight and move on to bigger and better things. Well, why else would Al Heyman sign with him? Or if they didn't believe in him, you know what I'm saying? Al Heyman was getting ready to put him in there with someone big after this. Who knows? Maybe Victor Ortiz would have fought Sean Porter next, or maybe a rematch with Maidana. You know, there were a lot of big fights for him after that.
That's why I love you, bro. I didn't even think of that. You're right. Why would Al Heyman sign him? I mean, how much money is Al Heyman going to get to sign Victor Ortiz to cash him out in one fight? So,
I don't think this was.
But I want to go to this caller, Juggernaut. He's been waiting the longest for 33 minutes.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
What up, brother?
Hey, I want you guys to tell me what you think about this fight. Victor Ortiz against Diego Chavez.
Suicide.
I'd love to watch it, man. I want anything with Chavez, dude. Anything with Chavez, I want it. I think he did a good job versus Thurman, and I'm not ready to write him off. Plus, he was an exciting fighter with a little bit of talent that, you know, he knew how to throw that left hook.
A little bit of talent.
No, what I mean is that, you know, he couldn't take it now in prospect, so I don't know, man, but I want to see him again.
That would be a good fight for the both of them. They both coming off losses, even though that Victor Ortiz is coming off multiple losses. And, hey, if Victor Ortiz can't beat that guy, it is time to hang up the gloves, because you ain't going to get no easy fights at 147. Not now, man. Not now.
Juggernaut.
Absolutely.
You think he could beat Chavez? Really?
No, but I don't want to waste time with this guy any longer. You know, we keep on recycling old guys. Josecito Lopez.
Give Golden Boy a fucking option by making Chavez fight.
I think he's done, man. I don't think he's going to get another big fight, man.
Yeah. Well, that's not a big fight, Beeb. That's a fucking dude they don't even promote, so I don't know.
Well, let me tell you this, though. I think Showtime would televise it, like maybe on
put it on Showbox. Put it on Showbox.
Yeah, put it on that Thursday night fight or put it on Friday night fights. I just want to see the match so we can see what Diego Chavez got in, if he's, you know, really the real deal, or we can see if Victor Ortiz, hey, this is the last shot at redemption. You definitely need to hang
Berto. I'd rather see Chavez Berto than see Victor Ortiz. I really don't want to see that back on my air anymore. I'm tired of it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. I'm sorry, James.
It's good.
How refreshing and how happy were you? And I know we're supposed to be unbiased, but how happy were you seeing Louis Collazo win? Everyone must have kind of, that must have touched you a little bit, seeing him like finally get a big victory and just get that moment, have that moment to have a big victory. I know he's a former world champion, but there's been so many times when this guy's been on the wrong end of a decision, and he was an underdog going into this fight. Not many people gave him a chance. How good did that feel? I mean, you had to be happy for him. It was almost impossible to not be happy for Luis Collazo.
You watch the man realize his dream. There's nothing more beautiful than that. That's exactly what it is. He's been robbed so many times before. So it's like you win a fight. It's like that's why I hate robberies. You work so fucking hard for so long, and you bust your ass mentally and physically, and you win the fight, and it still doesn't go your favor. And that's happened almost like I have to go back and watch the Ricky Hatton one, but it's arguably done twice to that man. And now he's done it. He didn't win a title, but he beat a real big name in the sport. And you watch the man realize his dream, and there's nothing more beautiful in life than that.
Absolutely. Let's go to another caller here. We got 443. It looks like a Baltimore number. You're live. Who's this?
Slug, man. What's up?
Slug, what it do?
What's going on, man?
Start saving these numbers again, man. I know I could. Yup.
Hey, I want to go back to something real quick, man. Your boy Danny Garcia. I had just recently watched that fight with him and Zeb Judah. And to me, I think Zeb Judah gave him a better fight than Lucas Matisse, man.
For fucking 3 rounds? Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Man, he had Danny hurt them last 3 rounds.
Man,
I couldn't believe it. Now, to tell you the truth, I didn't expect him to go the full length of the fight. Zeb Judah got a second win which was unexpected, hurt Danny Garcia in the 10th round. I said, what the hell is this? And Lucas Matisse got knocked out.
Slug, maybe I'm in denial, and I seen, Zab Judah never use his first win, get punched up and down for 9 rounds, yes, with some competitiveness in it in spots, but lose, in my opinion, I don't know about anyone else's, but I'm pretty sure Beeb felt the same way. I remember that show. In my opinion, lose the first 9 rounds, get headbutted, suffer a bad headbutt with a lot of blood, and not be able to focus the way he normally did, and that's when Zab Judah started to land some punches and be competitive for the next 3 rounds.
Yeah,
Other than that, I don't remember shit.
People just seem to get those first 9 rounds of that fight, and they're just focusing on the last 3. And even the last 3, I still think Danny had a good 12th round. He may have lost the 12th round, but he was still there. It wasn't like Judah was kicking his ass in the 12th round. So it's a 9-3 fight, guys, plus a knockdown. So I mean, it's a wide victory for Danny in that fight. I'm just being honest.
Let's give Slug a chance to rebuttal because MV Chu got upset. I didn't let him.
Sorry, Slug.
No, you're good, Beeb. I'm just saying, I wanted to say that I didn't give MV Chu a chance to rebuttal. I didn't know. I seen you in the chat, MV Chu. Just call back in. You know the number. Slug, what's your rebuttal to that, brother?
No. What I was saying is that he gave him, to me, in my opinion, he gave him a better fight than Lucas Matisse did. Lucas Matisse was hitting Danny a lot, but he wasn't. I didn't really see Danny hating that fight.
We can respect
well, hey, that's your opinion, and this is the channel to voice it on, so you did the right thing. I'm gonna get and move on. Get to another caller here though. 773. I think this might be my man Tony, and if it is, you are the motherfucking truth because I don't even think you have Twitter. Tony, is this you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, bro.
Oh,
hello.
Shit.
Yeah. Hey, what's good, man?
Tony Baloney?
Hey, what?
What's your Twitter handle?
At Ariana98.
I don't even know that. Are you fine? Anyway, what's up, brother? What do you want to talk about?
No, man. You guys started talking about Danny, so I had to call in. It's just, automatic, So, but first, before I get to my Danny point, man, I wanted to tell you, as far as when you're talking about Victor and everything, retiring and everything, I was just thinking about it. You think that tweet that Oscar sent out after Victor basically quit again was just out of frustration? Like, dude, we're trying to promote your ass. We're trying to give you a big fight, and you fucking just quit again. Just fucking retire. But obviously he cleaned it up. You know what I'm saying? And but aside from that, I don't get the whole controversy with Danny fighting Herrera. Honestly, like, Herrera's a decent fighter. He's a tough guy, but this is strictly a showcase fight, and that's it, and that's all it is, in my opinion. Wow. They're sending him to Puerto Rico to win. They're not sending him to Puerto Rico to fight Lucas Matisse. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole idea, just to build a star, make it bigger, and that's it. And after he fights Herrera, then he's going to get back down to, coming back to maybe Barclays and maybe fighting whoever's next, or I don't know who's on the agenda. If he moves up to welterweight, I don't know if he fights Porter or somebody like that. I'm not sure, but that's all it is, man. That's all it is, Ness, in my opinion.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Would you have rather seen him? Would you have rather seen him fight Matisse in a rematch instead of fighting Herrera? Would that have been a better fight for you? Was that what you would have wanted?
Well, you know what? Yeah, I would like to see him fight Matisse again, but like I said, this fight is just a showcase. It's going to be a little blip.
Then you don't have.
I don't have a problem with him.
Good.
You remember back in the day, guys? I don't remember who it was, but real quick, remember when Oscar De La Hoya, he had one of these fights, one of these showcase fights. It was in the Alamo Dome, and it was strictly show. I know you remember it, Beeb and Ness, and the other guy that's on James, I think. He came out like with a Matador's outfit, and he had like a mariachi band, and It was just crazy, dude. It was, but he was fighting a bum, but it was just something for his fans, you know. Just that's all it was, you know. And this is what the Danny fight is. Yeah, he's gonna fight Herrera, and in Puerto Rico, like I said, if he gets knocked out in Puerto Rico, let's say he fights Maidana, you know, in Puerto Rico and gets knocked out. That's like one of the worst things that can happen to Danny. That's not gonna happen. That's not what they want. This is just strictly a showcase. And the next fight after this, then it's going to get down to the nitty-gritty. You know what I'm saying? Then he's going to fight like, you know, a real guy. But the thing is, I don't think Herrera's that much of a bum. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a tough guy, man.
I agree.
Yeah, he's a tough dude, you know, like I said. You know, he doesn't have the greatest physical ability, but, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's going to be tough, man. You know, Danny's going to have to...
Definitely credible opponent, I would say. I mean, you guys, and the reason I'm saying this clearly is in what Chemo likes to call my, what did you say, double standards. But yes, I'm going to use a double standard here because you guys used it a few months back. So if you think Pavatnikov is good, then I think Herrera's good because he beat Pavatnikov, and you can't shit on his fight. So fuck you, pay me. Now,
Nas, wait, Nas, with that real quick, Herrera lost to Alvarado, and Pavatnikov beat Alvarado, though.
All right, so that still makes him even better, which means he beat Pavatnikov, who beat Alvarado.
But who lost to Alvarado? Herrera lost to Alvarado.
Okay, but he beat the better guy, clearly, which was Pavatnikov. I mean, Pavatnikov.
That's
but
the
anyway,
perfect case if fighter A doesn't beat fighter B.
But that's total bullshit. That's why I'm saying it.
Exactly.
That's why I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That it's a double standard. I'm being a little asshole by saying it's a double standard. I know it's bullshit. That's not truly the way that I think. It's just that's what I'm in defense mode right now. These guys are gonna come at me. They don't like this fight. But I'm gonna go to 504.
It's not just you, bro. I'm rolling with you.
504. Who's this and where you calling from?
What's up, man? It's Enoch, man. I'm calling from the Southern World, New Orleans, you dig? I want to talk about... say that again?
I said, what's going on, brother?
Oh, I'm chilling, man. I want to talk about the Bradley and Pacquiao fight that's coming up. I want to get your thoughts on, you think they're going to try to set that fight up for a trilogy? I mean, you think they're going to try to rob Tim Bradley in the next fight coming up? What y'all think?
I don't think that they will be able to rob Tim Bradley. I think that Tim Bradley is going to really beat up Manny Pacquiao. Probably not beat up, but definitely win a decision, because you got to remember that was Tim Bradley with 2 broken ankles for 12 rounds or 9 rounds or whatever the case may be. I know that the fight went 12, but I mean, I don't remember if he broke his ankles in the 2nd or the 3rd round, but the point is he fought a lot of that fight injured, and when he's not injured, what's going to happen? I mean, he looked very good versus Marquez. I don't know. 100% Tim Bradley is a frightening Tim Bradley. James, what do you think?
The easiest way I've used to describe this fight is that I think that Pacquiao's decreased enough and Bradley is increased enough that it's right there in the middle now. So it's a matter of who's younger, who's going to hit harder, and everything else. So with all this stuff that's like, I personally believe, I'm with you, man. I think that Bradley's going to win this fight. I think he's going to outbox him. And I think that he showed real good poise, and he actually did good against Pacquiao. And like I was talking to you earlier before the show started that I need to go back and watch that fight, or the first Pacquiao fight. But without those 2 broken ankles and the experience that he's gotten now, there's no way that Pacquiao's not going to win this fight. I'm so certain about this, and no one can convince me otherwise. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I really do. I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy blowout. I think the scorecards are going to be similar to what you saw against Marquez. It's going to be a competitive fight, but it's going to be an easy victory, and this time it's going to be a decisive victory for Bradley.
Well, I totally agree with you. Let's let New Orleans rebuttal.
Too, James. I agree
New Orleans, what's your rebuttal to that? I mean, not rebuttal. Do you feel that way? You posed the question. Now we need to know how you feel.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling like it's a possibility. You know how Uncle Bob is. But, I mean, as far as Tim Bradley goes, I think he definitely have enough talent to, to win a fight. You know, but, I mean, I think if he was facing the same Pacquiao that was fucking up Margarito and busting up Cotto, I mean, I'm a big conspiracy theorist. Me, I mean, I believe since Mayweather came out and started bringing up the drug tests and all that, it seemed to me like Pacquiao started going downhill. You know, he didn't have the stamina no more, as he used to. I mean, he go from knocking out big motherfuckers until he just looked like a regular B fighter now. I mean, he's not the same to me anymore. And I think it was all on Alex Ariza, And I have no trust for Alex Ariza at all, man. I just think, like I said, I'm big on a conspiracy thing. And to me, I think Pacquiao is juicing. And Pacquiao without the juice, he ain't worth shit. That's how I feel about that, man. Long story short.
What have you seen that's different in him, though? What have you seen that makes you think that?
I mean, just the way Pacquiao was just beating the shit out of people. I mean, busting people up. I'm talking about big-ass opponents. I mean, I'm talking about people like Clottey. Well, then again, Clottey went in there and threw the damn fight anyway. He wasn't throwing anything. But, I mean, I can't really voice exactly.
A hand wrap incident, it wasn't the same Margarito. So if you're a conspiracy theorist, you got to agree that Margarito wasn't the same Margarito after getting caught before the Shea Mosley fight.
I mean, just look at the fights, the Marquez 3. I mean, I just seen the Shane Mosley fight. I just seen Pacquiao go downhill, and like I said, I believe it's because I think Pacquiao figured if he kept on, juicing and doing the exclusive shit, eventually he was gonna get caught, and it was gonna be a big stain on his legacy, And like I said, Pacquiao is mediocre now. I believe that.
Quick, don't you think that Pacquiao is an inflated, like, kind of lightweight? You don't think that? Do you think he's a natural 147? Because you got to remember, the people at the lower weight divisions tend to peak sooner and retire earlier. So he's always been a smaller fighter. He's not the Floyd Mayweather, where Floyd Mayweather, I believe, is a little bit bigger naturally than he is. So he's kind of come up a little bit. So you think it's him doing steroids, and you don't think this is a natural progression or a decline?
No, you're absolutely right. I think it's nothing natural about it. I mean, going up 8 different weight classes. I mean, winning these fights in a manner that he was winning them in, and to just go from that. I mean, we got to remember, Pacquiao is not an old man. I mean, this is not too long ago when he was just basically killing motherfuckers in the ring. But like I said, man, I think since Mayweather came out and exposed him, truth be told, I think he was smart about it and stopped doing the shit before he got caught. And now what we got is what we see. A Pacquiao that's going to get his ass beat. Now, we can't judge. We can't, we really can't take nothing from the Brandon Rios fight, But like I said, man, ever since Mayweather came out and put him on blast, he's been going downhill. He ain't been as vicious as he used to be. And Pacquiao is not an old man. You can't say he's outside his prime.
You make a good point, man. I guess we will see in this Bradley fight. But thanks for calling in. I'm going to go ahead and go to another caller here. 443, you're live. Who's this? 443. I'm sorry.
Yo, this Wood, yo.
My nigga Wood. I thought you said you weren't calling in no more. I'm glad that you didn't do
no,
that.
Other show. I called last week. I thought you said that was your last show. I called in last week. I was talking to D last week, man.
Hey, he was on last week.
Got mad. I thought you got mad because you're the reason we're over here on Blog Talk.
He's cool,
You're the reason we're over here on Blog Talk, so I thought you got mad at us.
He called in.
Man, you ain't know I ain't got no feeling. I ain't got no woman feelings like that, man. I don't give a fuck about you pushing me off and shit. I was just I just thought that was your last show. I called in last week. Me and B was chopping it up for about an hour. Me and B chopped it up for about an hour. Hey, B, tell him we chopped it up for about an hour then.
Chopped it up for an hour, man. We got a lot of good topics out the way, man. We had some good convo, man.
Yeah, yo.
All right. So what are you going to talk about today, Wood?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk. I told B last week. I told him about that fucking nigga who was gonna get beat his ass beat up. He was a fucking loser, Ortiz. And I seen that interview with that little dude, man. That little dude is a bitch, man. He don't want to fight nobody, man. What's that little nigga name you was talking to when you did an interview on your
Gary Russell.
That little nigga is a bitch, man. He look like my little nephew Travis, man. I got a nephew look just like this nigga, man.
He looks
this nigga look. Yo, this nigga do not want to fight nobody, man. He a bitch, man. I wish, hey man, they lucky I don't do no interviews, man, because I wouldn't last a minute, man. They would kick me out of there. I would tell that nigga, man, you don't want to fight nobody, man. He just fucking around, man. He fucking around, wasting time.
Yeah, man. Hey, Wood,
yo,
he go to Blog Talk and follow us on Blog Talk so you can get an email whenever we do a show. All right, brother?
All right, I'll go in there. I'll go in there and get a pass, go in there and do all that shit. Go in and do that shit. All right.
Bring you back on, or you got anything else you want to chop it up right now about?
I hold on for a while. You go to somebody else. I hold on so you can do that.
All right.
Or I'll hit y'all.
Let me see here. 11111. You've been on the longest. If you want to press the number 1, you can talk and be live on the show. Let me see. I think. Oh yeah, Chemo wanted to get back on and rebuttal. Chemo, what's going on, brother? I guess I upset you. You ready to get back at us?
No, I'm not upset, man. It's just, dude, I don't have a problem with the Herrera fight, because like you said, there's not really anybody else out there for Garcia at the moment. I think they're doing a smart plan, bringing him to Puerto Rico as well. But I must say, we can all act like it was a fucking destruction of Matisse, but it was a decently competitive fight. Even Beeb admits it, and you guys both picked Garcia. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch, but I definitely would prefer it down the line.
Though, Chemo, I don't understand. I said I seen you in the chat. Why do you think that I didn't downgrade Matisse? I said that I was defending Matisse when that caller said Judah did a better job versus Garcia than Matisse did, and I don't think that's true.
Yeah, but that caller was a bit out of control anyway. So no, but you act a bit like it was an ass whooping, right?
Trying to diminish what Matisse did.
Well, you kind of do, don't you?
But I didn't.
Yeah, but you make it sound like it was a one-sided ass whooping, and it wasn't.
Anyway, what we forgot to talk about with you is the fact that I went up to your little Wu-Tang Clan, and I'm like, yo, what up? Like, oh, I heard what you said. I'm like, look, I ain't nobody beef for that. Take this picture for the show so they can see you're a fucking listener. You see
Wait,
that?
Raekwon listened to the show?
You was all the way in Amsterdam. You ain't think I could get my hands on one of them little dirty Staten Island niggas, huh? Yo, I'm telling you, I could touch y'all. I keep telling y'all, man, be careful. Nests pop up in a store near you, man, and just yoke you up. You looking for a jacket, I come out the fucking, right out the little rail and just start choking little Chemo.
Hey, I love the Wu, man. They came to my hometown in Holland, man. They did a sick show, dude. It was awesome.
Those guys are old already, man. Get out of here.
Did you tell him that in his face?
Of course not. Fuck, I look like
exactly. So what the fuck are you talking about?
When did you see him, Ness?
This Saturday, dude. I was with fucking Robert Ortiz, our Vegas correspondent. We finally met in person after 2 fucking years, and we had an awesome time. Robert Ortiz is fucking just as awesome on phone as he is in person. He's fucking the dope, man. He was on tour. He sold out the best. Yo, how does the Boxing Voice land a fucking rock star? He sold out the Best Buy Theater in New York City on Times Square, dude. And I went out there to see him, and it was fucking awesome.
That
I don't
band,
even listen to that type of music.
Escape the Fate. That's a big fucking band. I used to be in the
dude.
hardcore scene. That's a big band, man.
He was telling me. I didn't know how big it was. I mean, he'd been telling me for 2 years, but when we sat down across from each other, fucking had some drinks and everything, I took him for a ride in a Camaro, took him back to Brooklyn, showed him my side of town a little bit, just like any one of you little faggot out there that's listening. If we ever meet up at a fight, man, we're going to have a good fucking time. Chemo, I'm going to put him in a headlock one day. I'm trying to get him to come to Puerto Rico, but he's scared. He must not got a passport or something. Chemo, why you not going to Puerto Rico? Fuck, you don't want to come to Blue Water sands and a fight. And you might leave with a wife because I know you're single.
That is true. But, I mean, for this fight, man, you know, it's going to cost me a lot of money, first of all. You know, it's going to be a shitload of money. And I want to meet you guys in fucking New York.
Would a flight be out there, yo? Of course, I never checked, but how much a flight would be for you? Over 8?
Well, yeah, obviously I have to. It's gonna be for me. I think like obviously it's in euros for me. Yeah, it's not in dollars, but I think overall flight would be at least like $800 to $800.
Yeah, I wouldn't go either. You know, I would have to be a big Garcia fan and live over there to go over there. But for me, the flight should be somewhere between $350 to $400, and I'm hoping I get it at that. Anything above that, I'm not going. Fuck that.
But Ness, I am planning. I'm already saving money for it. I am gonna come to a big fight in New York City, man. I want to do that shit and meet all of you guys.
Man, you want to come to New York? New York is fucking whack. We need to meet on a neutral location. Yo, this PR fight is the best. Like, yo, during the day we could be fucking at the beach drinking, nightlife after the fight. What? It's fucking Puerto Rico. You want to come to New York where you got to wear fucking hoodies and scarves and shit. I hate East Coast. East Coast is fucking cold and horrible. I mean, I know you want to come for the June fight, so maybe in June. But the problem with that, summertime New York City, what the fuck? Madison Square Garden, a Puerto Rican fighter? That shit is going to be chaos. It's going to be bananas. I haven't caught public transportation since 1997. It's going to take me like 3 hours to get to you, but I'll still do that. I still will do that, but I do want to express my discontent in having to meet you in New York City. It's fucking whack.
Well, whenever the shit goes down, I'll let you know. But hey, man, we could even do it in D.C. I know you're a big fan of that.
Fuck yeah, D.C. is awesome. It was cold as hell this time, but that's a fight city, man. That's definitely a fight city. Let me see who's been holding on here. I guess 202. Kimo, I'm going to leave you on, man. You're like a fucking co-host already, brother. You know what to do.
It's cool.
202, you're live. Who's this?
It's World Rank.
World Rank, what up, man? You got anything else to say? I see you've been there for a minute, and I also wanted to save your fucking number. I'm going to everybody and saving numbers here.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Danny Garcia thing. I'm not saying that Johan Perez is, you know, worthy. It's worthy, like, you know what I mean, like Mauricio Herrera. I mean, but it's a reason for the fight. I think
let me find out, World Rank, that your real name is fucking, I don't know, Hector Perez, and Johan Perez is your fucking brother, and you doing secret PR work over here on the Boxing Voice, because nobody but you knows who the fuck is Johan Perez. But this is the voice of the people. Go ahead and voice your fucking opinion. Do it.
Yeah, I'm not just because you guys don't know fighters don't mean they're not good. I'm not saying Johan Perez would beat Danny Garcia. I'm just saying he deserved his shot. Well, also what I'm saying is, I think Golden Boy is spoiling the moment right here to take advantage of Danny Garcia. I understand the reason to send him to Puerto Rico and try to get him a name, but I think, you know, to go from Matisse, from the number one guy to the number two guy, going at it basically for the title, to go down and fight somebody, I think they're wasting the opportunity now. So I don't know what you guys think about that. Because he's hot right now.
I don't know. Let's ask Beeb. Beeb, what's your thoughts, man? You think they're wasting an opportunity?
No, man. I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem with the fight, man. I really don't. I don't know why people have a problem with Danny Garcia fighting him. I really don't. I think it's a good fight, man.
All right. Well, remember the call-in number is 646-478-3068. You can Skype by going to the blogtalkradio.com/The Boxing Voice Radio Show and click on the Skype
add another real point
icon there. What happened? I'm sorry, James.
Dude, I picked the worst part to interrupt. Sorry, man. But I was going to say that do you think it's also that Mauricio Herrera is a Mexican-American, that they brought him into Puerto Rico to kind of reignite that rivalry? Because, it's like everyone talks about Danny Garcia not being really Puerto Rican, but at the same time, it's like if you bring a Mexican to Puerto Rico, I'm sure it'll bring out everyone from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strategic move to put him in there with a Mexican so that no Puerto Rican in the house roots for the Mexican unless the Mexican does Salido to Juanma in Puerto Rico. So then, yeah, they're going to root. But, yeah, I think it's a smart move. This way they get all Puerto Ricans backing him, and then the next time he's able to get some Puerto Rican love. Let me go to this caller so I can also save their number. Maybe this is Jersey Seth. I'm not sure. 201, you're live on the air. Who's this?
Jersey Seth, what's up, guys?
Jersey Seth, what's up, man? You still haven't called me, man. I just want you guys to know I got a chance to meet Jersey Seth at the Victor Ortiz fight. This dude is fucking tall. And he secretly has been a writer. We didn't even know, B. This guy's written for Boxing News 24/7. He's writing for them now. He was credentialed for the fight. He was there when I met him. He's writing for Boxing News 24/7. He's wrote for fucking Billy C. So Jersey Seth has been calling in with his analytical breakdowns of fights and picks with true boxing knowledge, man. So I just want to let all our listeners know that Jersey Seth is also a writer. But anyway, Jersey Seth, what's up, brother? What do you want to talk about, man? How's it been?
All good, but I hear you guys talking about the how Danny is coming back to fight Mauricio Herrera, and he's getting a lot of backlash. And I just want to say this fight should not be an issue for anyone because, number one, Danny Garcia has just finished pretty much cleaning out the division, and if not cleaning out, just finished fighting the number one contender, which was Lucas Matisse, and just beat him handily. So he's fought a string of tough fights, and he deserves, not a showcase, but he doesn't have to always be facing top-tier fighters back to back to back to back. No fighter does that. Muhammad Ali didn't do that. Mike Tyson didn't do that. No one did that. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man, you're good.
Okay, my bad. But yeah, so no one did that. Eric Morales didn't even do that. This is okay, and they're trying to make him more marketable to the Puerto Rican public, and he deserves that because he is a true talent. He does deserve to be as famous as Miguel Cotto became, how Tito Trinidad became, because he really is, I believe, has potential to get on that level, because I see this kid, he doesn't do anything bad. He's like from 1 to 10, he's like a 8.5 in everything, as far as speed, knowledge, everything, his durability. This guy has it all. He's so well-rounded. This guy is kind of like Andre Ward. He can go really far.
Ness, I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't unmute myself. I'm sorry. But, I was saying, Beeb and James, what's your take on Jersey Seth's, I guess, breakdown of saying the fight is justified?
If I had to guess, what I think is going on is that basically Danny Garcia will be Puerto Rican until he fights a Puerto Rican, similar to how Oscar De La Hoya was Mexican until he fought Fernando Vargas. So it's like they'll get behind him only because he's Puerto Rican by nationality. If I started the fight, I'd probably have Ireland get behind me. Until I fought an Irish fighter, then they would get behind him. You know what I mean? So where I think they'll accept him at the same time is they'll kind of always be that not full acceptance until, because if he walked up against Miguel Cotto, other than his little, because I think there's been rumors about how people on the island don't like Cotto that much apparently, but whatever, regardless. You know what I'm saying? If he fought Miguel Cotto, essentially Miguel Cotto would be the favorite in that fight. So I think he's Puerto Rican until he fights the Puerto Rican.
Well, they have to claim Danny Garcia, the Puerto Ricans, because there's no really other Puerto Rican fighter out there. And as you said, Cotto's been having some negative press in Puerto Rico. There's been a lot of stories going on about him. I don't want to get too deep into them because I don't know how true they are, but there's been headlines about Cotto having some issues, some family issues, and what have you. So, I mean, and plus Cotto is winding down in his career, and Danny Garcia is new. He's fresh. He's the young budding star, and he's Puerto Rican brethren to them. So they're gonna adopt him. Whether or not they're gonna look at him as the Baricua. Still, he is Puerto Rican, even though he's born in the United States, and they can claim him based off of that. And they're gonna do that.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to have you guys as co-hosts, man, because, James, that was a great fucking point. He is Puerto Rican until he fights a true Puerto Rican, and at 147, there is nobody that's gonna divide the Puerto Rican nationality into choosing Danny or his opponent. There just isn't.
There's no one else. There's no one else.
This is win-win for him. But we've definitely ran that subject into the ground. We'll go back to it only if one of the callers want to talk about it. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know.
Never been a lame-o, never been a lame-o.
So we'll just dead that, and we'll switch to another press tour that starts off Tuesday in Los Angeles. Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao. I don't know. Are you guys upset that he's not even getting his name first on a poster? I mean, is it justifiable because the win wasn't really a win? But I give him credit for the Marquez win, which was, I guess, the guy that knocked out Pacquiao, and Bradley has went on to do better things than Pacquiao. I mean, I guess it could be argued who's looked better since that first time they fought, because Bradley did get drugged through a couple of rounds in the Pavatnikov fight, but then he looked excellent versus Marquez, whereas Pacquiao had the loss to Marquez and then I guess looked good in the Brandon Reels fight when at Brandon Reels' first time moving up in weight. James, what's your thoughts?
I don't think Pacquiao, or I think Bradley gives a shit about his name being first. I think Pacquiao actually does. And Bradley, every time you ever talk, like every Bradley interview, every time you talk to Bradley, you kind of get that sense that he just doesn't give a fuck. And that's what's awesome about that guy. It's like if it came, I think that's a contract negotiation type of thing where Pacquiao said he wanted his name to be first, and Bradley's like, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. And that's what I see when I see that. All of us on this panel right now are currently picking Bradley. We all think he's going to win. So who gives a shit if Bradley's name is first? It's going to be Bradley's name, it's going to be Bradley's arm who's raised at the end of that fight. So I know I think he believes that. We believe that. And I think it's just Pacquiao saying, I want my name to be first because I'm the big name, which he is. So we can't be naive to the fact that Pacquiao's name is going to be driving this fight, but it's going to be Bradley's name at the end of the fight.
Beeb, what do you think? Beeb.
I think Beeb fell off his rocker.
What the hell? All right, well, let's go to some of these callers, man. Let's see what they think. I'm going to bring Wood back in. Wood, what do you think about Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley? They're kicking off the press tour on Tuesday, and the poster got Manny Pacquiao's name first in Bradley's.
Man, who give a fuck, man? I think Bradley going to whip his nigga ass, man. I talked to Bradley last week, man. Bradley said he going to fuck him up for Baltimore. Hello? He going to fuck him up for Baltimore now.
So let's go to Jersey Seth, man. Jersey Seth, what do you think about Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao, and the fact that Pacquiao's still the driving force for this fight when Bradley's went on to do so many better things?
Well, because Pacquiao has accomplished more throughout his career. He's been around longer. He's been an established name for quite some time now. So more people know him, and he's just a bigger draw, and he has that whole Filipinos behind him, or he has a whole country behind him. Whereas Bradley, he's American, but he doesn't really have that country aspect behind him. But, you know, I think it's a good fight. I think it's a necessary fight. I think it had to happen because of the history, and I'm just excited to see it. I think it's pretty much the two best welterweights in the world going at it, aside from Floyd Mayweather.
Well,
all
Ness,
right.
Let me just jump in real quick. You asked about the name being put in front. I think Bradley realizes if he beats Manny Pacquiao, the only time another person's name is going to get put in front of his is if and when he fights Floyd Mayweather. Yep. So I think Bradley doesn't care about that. He realizes that, you know what, Pacquiao still is the name. He still is the second biggest draw in the sport. And when I beat him, maybe I may not be the second biggest draw in the sport, but I'll be 2 or 3 steps closer to what I was before this fight. And that's what I think Bradley realizes. When you see Bradley in public, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's a confident guy. He doesn't care about all those little things. He just wants to fight, and he wants to prove to people that he can win and that he is the better fighter. And I think a lot of people are riding with him this time. So that's just a technicality that I think Bradley will correct after the fight.
Beef, let me ask you real quick, just for fun. I know Ness hates pound for pound list, but if Bradley beats Pacquiao, do you move him above Andre Ward as number 2?
That's so ironic you said that, and I was so angry because that was one of my questions I was going to ask him. I was going to say, hey, if you beat Pacquiao, I know you said you don't think that you'd be number 1, ahead of Floyd, but do you think that there would be a case made for you to be ahead of Ward? And
I would.
Absolutely, that there would be a case made. Absolutely.
Yep, I would. I'd pick him. He'd be my number 2.
There could be an argument either way, but I'm not so sure if I would do it. But if someone said, yeah, I put him at number 2, you wouldn't get a strong argument out of me.
Even more than that, if Bradley beats Pacquiao, do people start beating the drum just as hard as they are for Pacquiao Mayweather as they would for Bradley Mayweather?
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? It's so funny because Mayweather just made... another question I had for him. You signed an extension that goes through 2015. Mayweather's last fight supposedly is in 2015. How epic would it be Mayweather fight you in his farewell fight? You know what I'm saying? That would be epic. And as I said, I believe Mayweather would beat Pacquiao, but I have to wonder, does Mayweather himself believe it deep down inside? For some reason, there's just something about Pacquiao I think that bothers Mayweather. So maybe he would fight Bradley. He could say to himself, Bradley doesn't have a big punch or whatever. I think I could beat Bradley, whatever. Maybe that would be an option for Mayweather as the last fight. If Bradley wins, which I believe he will, and if he remains undefeated up until next year. But I think if he beats Pacquiao, I don't see anyone that could really beat him at 147, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. But that would be great.
Callers here. Tony, what's your opinion on what Beeb and James are saying about this Bradley-Pacquiao fight, pound for pound status and things like that?
Yeah, I agree. If he beats Pacquiao, he goes number 2 ahead of Ward. But you know what I was thinking, man? What was so interesting, man, was a video that Paulie had some comments, and they were asking him about his opinion on the Bradley-Pacquiao fight. And then Paulie came straight out and said, well, if they got VADA testing for the fight, I'm going with Bradley. If not, I'm going with Pacquiao, that's like the first time I've ever actually heard a fighter really come out like that,
And that was my other question I was going to ask Bradley. You both you guys had VADA testing for your last fight. What is there going to be VADA testing for this fight? And that's going to be interesting because no one has ever mentioned it yet. That has not been a topic brought up yet. We've seen all these other topics brought up about this fight. What about the drug testing? That's a great question.
Great question. But I'm assuming they're going to do drug testing again since they made Rios do drug testing. If Pacquiao all of a sudden stops it so quickly, he's also not sending the message continuously to Mayweather that he's willing to test. But let's see what some other callers got to say on this Bradley-Pacquiao topic. Juggernaut, what's your thoughts?
All right.
Anything real quick, Ness. Bradley made a big deal about Marquez not drug testing, so there's no fucking way he's going to do that same shit with Pacquiao.
I still want to see Triple G drug tested because, like somebody said on YouTube, his jabs were hurting that one African dude that he was fighting. I believe Triple G, Kovalek, all those guys need to be blood drug tested.
Man, I believe every fucking fighter in the sport should be drug tested no matter what level of fight you're on. Another courtesy call here. Actually, 2. I forgot all about Jay Nice. Jay Nice, you're live on the Boxing Voice, but you're calling on our old number. What's up, brother? I want to give you this new phone number or this URL, brother, because we need you to hop on over to the new website. Here it is right here. I just texted. Did you see it?
Yeah, I got it.
Head on over through there, and you can use Skype over there. There's a Skype button on the top of our page, all right? But now that I got you, man, what's your thoughts on the topics?
Well, I came in kind of late, and I haven't called in a minute, but I've been really busy. I just have some questions for you guys, but you guys pretty much cleared it up. But do you guys know more or less up to when Bradley signed his extension? Because Floyd said September 2015 is his last fight. So if Bradley's taken up by Top Rank all throughout 2015, I don't know how that's happening.
Yeah, well, we're going to get an actual date once we interview him. We had him on the last show, but we had some technical difficulties. But we'll definitely get that question answered for you. Follow that URL and Skype us over there, and I'll see you on the host queue over here, brother. Thanks again. Iman, what's going on, brother? You're also live on the old number. Are you not able to get Blog Talk to work, my friend?
No, you can hear me, right? I
can hear you.
Yeah, no, I had it working. I actually called in. I was sitting there waiting. I don't know why you couldn't see the call. I went and... that probably was you with the 111 number. You need to press the number 1 with the... Yeah, no, I did twice, and it put me through to you.
All right, so go ahead. Let's try it, man. We got to run the test so we get this right.
Yeah, no problem. What I was going to say to you again, I just wanted to say, listen, I think that Bradley's got the edge on Pacquiao this time, just a little bit. But I wanted to talk about Victor Skyped me, just sent a tweet yesterday after the Triple G fight, and he said that, really abruptly that I mentioned Andy Lee, and he said that Triple G will get him out of there in 2 rounds. And, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I actually thought James was Victor. I was fucking delighted, but as far as I'm concerned, Andy Lee would beat Stevens, would beat Odama, would beat Macklin. I think he'd take Macklin out in 3 rounds.
Dude, are you talking about the same fucking Andy Lee that gave up the
No, hold on. Hold on for a second. I'm just going to make my point. Listen, Andy Lee has never had his knee on the canvas. He got beaten by Chavez that has ran on 10% of what he was in that fight. Emmanuel Stewart himself said there was something really dodgy going on down there. And it's true. Chavez was a bull for a few fights leading up to that, And then he's nothing. He gets to the Martinez fight, and he's fucking like a clown in the ring. He can't fucking find him. But it was just, I thought it was fucking really disrespectful that this guy. I mean, listen, I know that Andy Lee has got fucking huge holes or whatever, but he's a tough guy, and he's got lateral movement, he's got reach, and he's got a bit of power. I think that it's an interesting fight, but I give Lee 8 rounds, and just we might see how G reacts when he gets tapped on the chin. You know what I mean, with a straight left.
All right, well, let's see what my co-host got to say. Iman, thanks for calling in. Call back in on the new number, please, or the new Skype over there on Blog Talk. You have to do it from Blog Talk. I know they said you did. I'll find you in the queue. All right, brother? Thank you. James, what do you think about Iman's call?
I don't know. It kind of depends. I don't think Andy Lee is going to give anyone – I don't think he's going to give Triple G issues. Triple G just needs to – he's one of those fighters that you just want to see Sergio Martinez, Peter Quillen, obviously, because he has the title. I don't care what he did with Rosado. He still has the title. Or give him go up against Ward, which I don't want to see yet. So he either needs to keep doing what he's doing and wait out Sergio Martinez, or needs to fight Peter Quillen, which he can't do because obviously with the Cold War. He's in a weird position where he's dominating the lesser competition, but I believe he's at the higher level. So it's until he's able to fight Sergio Martinez, until he's able to fight Sergio Martinez, I can't say for sure that he's there, but I believe inside that he is. So where I say buyer beware with other fighters, I believe Golovkin is the truth, and I don't know. I'll have the egg on my face, and I'll say I'm sorry if he gets knocked the fuck out by someone. But to me, until proven guilty, Golovkin's the good. All right,
let me go to this other caller right here. He's been on for like 37 minutes. He just pressed 1. 516. You're live. Who's this?
Hey, what's good? This is Juito. How you guys doing?
Juito?
Yep. Jewido. I chat with you guys on Twitter. I usually listen on the archives. I don't get to call in too often, so thank you for doing this on Super Bowl because I don't really give a shit about the game because this is the only sport I watch.
Let me just get that spelling one more time.
Yeah, Jewido.
I-G-O. All right, no, I just want to say it.
Jewido. D like David.
Okay. I just want to say if you call back in, I know who you are and could go to your name.
Cool, man. Cool. So, hey, again, thanks for having the show on tonight. I wanted to chime in with Bradley, just the whole deal with him. I get very frustrated with this topic because this guy, in my opinion, was never promoted properly. He should be light years ahead of where he is from a marketability standpoint. One of the top pound-for-pound fighters, got the short end of the stick with the Pacquiao fight, which, I don't think he won, but I think you're right. If he fights him in the rematch, or when he fights him in the rematch with 2 good feet, I think he wins decisively again. But I dream about him going over to Golden Boy, because you imagine the fights and the promotion. They know how to promote fighters over there. I mean, they've been doing a better job. You know who Danny Garcia is. You know who these guys are. So just from a marketability standpoint, he just deserves it. He's put in the dues, and in my opinion, quite honestly, right now, he's the only one that deserves a shot at Mayweather, but I know it's never going to happen, at least not until he gets out of that damn contract. So I'll be curious if you guys do talk to him to find out when that contract is up, because he needs to get over to the other side, make some big fights and some big money. The other thing I wanted to check. Do you think it's more that Top Rank isn't promoting him, and more that the humble character in the United States doesn't sell nearly as much as the shit-talking character does? You need that. Yeah, but that's not always true, though, because there's other fighters that are like that. I mean, Miguel Cotto is one of the most popular fighters, and granted, he's Puerto Rican.
Right now, Adrian Broner is more popular than Andre Ward is, and Andre Ward's far more accomplished than fucking Adrian Broner is. And that dude's shit talk. That's more.
Good point, James. Good point, James.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think a lot of it does stem from Gary Shaw. Gary Shaw screwed him in the beginning. If he was promoted properly back then.
The base of your argument is kind of fucked up, because he's been with Top Rank for a while. He got a showcase fight for $1 million with Casamayor. Then he fought Pacquiao. Then he had the Fight of the Year candidate, if not the Fight of the Year, with many outlets in Ruslan Pavatnikov. Then he went and beat Marquez. If he's not marketable in this fight, if this fight doesn't do good numbers, he's just not a sellable guy.
Which is a tragedy, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And it's against styles. There's a big focus with knockouts, and you hear it all the time. You guys talk about it all the time. Max Kellerman and Teddy Atlas, and they always talk about getting the guys knocked out. But we appreciate the sweet science. So I'll watch Tim Bradley all day long. I'll watch him. I'll pay pay-per-view to watch him.
And I'm a guy that I don't like buying whack pay-per-views, and I bought Bradley versus Marquez because I liked that fight. And that pay-per-view was shit, but that fight was good. I like Bradley. I've always watched Bradley. I watched him when he went to fight Junior Witter. I've been following Bradley for a long time, since he was on fucking Showbox and promoted by Gary Shaw, and didn't have Julio. Well, no, I think he did always have Julio Diaz in his corner. Yeah. But I'm going to go to some other callers here. I'm going to go to 718. He's been on hold for a long time. 718, you're clearly calling from New York City. What's your name? Who's this? Is this my boy, motherfucking Boogie Down Sean, that I just don't remember his number? Who's this?
6.
Oh, 6. What's up, brother? I'm going to save your number.
What's good, man?
Happen again. Chilling, brother. We're trying out this new platform. It's kind of...
Yeah, man. I was having problems with that blog talk shit, man. I had to call back in.
You had problems?
Let me. I just want to ask you something about Triple G. Triple G was just on... He just fought on HBO. He's on HBO or Showtime. How come his last fight wasn't even televised? What's going on?
It was in Monaco. It was in Monaco, and HBO tried to televise it, but the venue was too small. It only held 900 people. They couldn't support their network truck, which they needed to then via the stream, via satellite back over to us. They tried their best, but this wasn't the fight, so they didn't go above and beyond.
Yes, real quick, I wanted to see the Rodriguez fight also at the same venue? They were able to broadcast that shit.
Yes, it was, but they were prepared then. This time, clearly, they weren't. 6, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying was Triple G is a beast. I would like to see him fight Peter Quillin or Sergio Martinez. I think that we all would like that. Friend,
but the problem with that is Golden Boy and the fact that Triple G is an HBO fighter, and then the Sergio Martinez, the problem with that is the fact that he wants to fight Cotto or Mayweather. So who knows, man, if you even get that fight.
Listen, they keep talking Mayweather. They need to leave Mayweather ass alone. Mayweather, he's a 147-pounder that blows up.
You gotta remember, you guys can't be so gullible. You have to remember that when they say Mayweather, Louis Collazo said Mayweather in his post-fight interview. Everybody wants Mayweather because Mayweather represents...
Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins are old asses, too. Like, come on, this dude can barely see... By the time he get in there, he's back at 147.
It's not
he
about
154.
competitiveness. It's not about the weight. It's not about competitiveness. It's not about that they want to test themselves. It's about the money. Mayweather represents money. 832, you're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this? 832. 832. All right. Yeah, man. So I don't know, James Beebe. These guys don't understand that Mayweather represents dollar signs, not actually testing myself. It's how much could I make?
Yeah, because if Luis Collazo sat there and said, "I want Keith Thurman on national TV," everyone would say the same question: who the fuck is Keith Thurman? As much as we love Keith Thurman, we think that would be a great fight, because I really do think that would be a great fight. You need, in order for you to market yourself as a fighter, you need to project. You need to fake it till you make it. So if you say on national TV, "I want to fight Floyd Mayweather," the people that don't know shit about boxing will assume that you're on the same level as fucking Floyd Mayweather. So it's selling yourself to the public. You can't sell yourself short, or the public will too. So you got to buy high and sell low.
Fucking James is shining today, coming through with great insight. Beeb, what do you think?
I couldn't have said it any better than that, man. I mean, James hit the nail right on the head, man. I mean, he hit the whole box of nails, man. I mean, I've been saying that all along, and then people say, well, it's not about the money. It is about the fucking money. It always has been about the fucking money. You don't go in there and wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want to go get punched in the face for free. No one does that. So it is what it is, man.
All right, well, let's switch it up a little bit. I mean, we talked Pacquiao Bradley already. Another big fight that I'm not happy about that's happening is Derek Chisora versus Tyson Fury. I'm not at all content that Derek Chisora is getting another shot at Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury beat clearly a worse version of Chisora than right now. Chisora was extremely overweight for that fight. It's probably going to be more competitive now, but I feel that when he fought Fury, they both were undefeated. Fury took his O, and it's not fair that he has to go back and fight this guy when there's so many other interesting heavyweight fights that could be made with Tyson Fury. What do you guys think about this fight, and are you excited?
Go ahead, James. Go ahead, James.
No, what I was going to say is that I think there's other fights that could have been made, but like you said, I think that Derek Chisora has kind of progressed enough. But at the same time, he's only, 2 fights off of getting knocked out from David Haye. So to me, I don't think Derek Chisora even stands a chance in this fight. When you got Bryant Jennings now, you got, Perez coming now. You got all these people that are available for Tyson Fury. He talks shit like he's at the Klitschko level, yet he doesn't accept the Klitschko level fight. There's obvious, to me, I think you were making the argument last week or a couple weeks ago that Pulev has, or Fury has almost the same or better resume than Pulev. And that's true, I honestly think. But at the same time, it's like Tyson Fury can call out so many other people, and I think he talks shit in the media, but behind the scenes, he's taking it easy, and he's walking up the steps slowly. He's acting like he's already there, but he's not. He knows he's not. So instead of calling out Deontay Wilder like he should, or calling out Malik Scott like he should, or calling out Brian Jennings like he should, or Michael Perez like he should, he's fighting fucking Derek Chisora for the second time.
Damn! Fucking James sipping that. I'm gonna bring the heat juice this fucking night to give us some solid boxing talk. Beeb, give me your takes, man. Derek Chisora, Tyson Fury.
I mean, I was just so gutted when the David Haye fight didn't come off. And the only other fight that I was really looking forward to is if he was to fight maybe Deontay Wilder. I don't hate the Chisora fight, but it's like been there, done that already. And I'm not totally sold on Chisora being back, being reborn and dedicated and focused. I don't know, man. I still think Chisora is inconsistent. And I don't think there's anything that Chisora brings that's going to really trouble Tyson Fury. I don't see what he could do differently in the second fight. I thought Fury beat him pretty clearly in the first fight. So it's not a bad fight, but like James said, there were so many other fights that could have been made. And I don't know if it's Tyson Fury, his team, or whatever, but I think if that Wilder fight was put in front of Wilder, I think he would take it. I think Al Heyman would have taken it in a minute. And they had no problem doing it in the UK either. So that's the fight that I would have liked to have seen. Not really this fight. I don't hate this fight, but I don't love it either. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I'm drinking like a lukewarm cup of tea instead of a nice piping sweet hot cup of tea right now. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Definitely understand you, man, but no need to spend too much time on that. Let's move on. Really quick, something we could touch on, but I don't even know how I feel about it. Well, I know exactly how I feel about this, and my first question to Vanez Martirosyan would be...
You're serious? You're serious?
Vanez Martirosyan now is signed to Goosen Tudor Promotions after being released, which translate being kicked off, dropped by Top Rank a month ago. And he has the nerve to say that he's really excited about signing with Goosen Promotions. He's a resident of Glendale, California, and he says a very bright future ahead of him. He says he does want to thank Bob Arum for all the support in the last 7 years, and he's very grateful to them and wish them the best. But in actuality, he knows that he got dropped because he fucking looks horrible. He had like 30-something fights, and he hadn't fought anybody. Then he had that fight with with Laura, that he was screaming for a top guy so badly, and he looked like shit. So did Laura. So it's strange that Top Rank didn't give him another shot. But I guess after 30 fights and then getting the Laura fight, they said, we're wasting our time with this guy. But my thing is, he is now wasting his time and his career by signing to Goosen, because at least he should have tried to sign a Golden Boy. And I'd be interested, to ask Richard Schaefer if they were not interested in Vanez, because that's another player at 154 that has some sort of a name, at least with us hardcores, that they could have put in with a guy with Molina, they have options on. They could have put in with a guy like Jamal Charlo. They could have put in with a guy with Rosado that they have options on, even though none of us probably want to see Rosado on TV again until he gets some good wins off air. But they have a lot of 154-pounders at Golden Boy, and for him to sign a Goosen means to me that he's, one, retarded, two, definitely going to be in a James Kirkland fight pretty soon.
With Vanez Martirosyan, to me, it sounds like he's the best case that you could possibly give for someone who is a great amateur that never translated to pros. And even with the one loss that he has, he's a gatekeeper in the division. He's never going to be at the top elite level, but if you beat Vanez Martirosyan, I almost believe in you. I mean, he beat Bradley. I think he dropped Bradley in the amateurs, and he dropped Austin Trout in the amateurs. So he's good in the amateurs, but he's bad in the pros. But good enough to be the gatekeeper. So if you beat Vanez Martirosyan like Andre did, I still think that you're credible enough. So that's all he is. To me, he's a high-level gatekeeper.
I forgot about that Andrade fight. That's why they dropped him. He drew with Laura, and then he got outclassed by Andrade. Beeb, your thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't know he got dropped. I thought maybe that was his contract ended and he just voluntarily left. I didn't know he got dropped. I was surprised to hear that.
The quote
do
is
you
that
think it was
released.
justified?
I mean, hell yeah. The dude he fought guys like Troy Laurie and Saul Duran and Kasim Uma and was in wars with them. Like, what the fuck? Not with Troy Laurie, but with Uma and Saul Duran. He definitely was in a war, and he got dropped by Saul.
Yeah. Well, maybe they
Duran.
felt they ran their course with him, and there was not much more they could do with them.
They most certainly did. They took this guy as far as they could take him without putting him in there with someone who was going to beat him up. And the minute they did, he looked bad versus one, and then got beat up versus the other.
No, I agree, man.
The best I ever saw Vanez Martirosyan is his sparring tapes that he had against Julio Cesar Chavez at Wild Card. I don't know if you ever saw those, but they were great. They were war.
Yeah, he's always been a good sparring guy. I remember seeing tapes on him sparring fucking Julio Cesar Chavez, but that's all he'll probably ever be, is a fucking sparring partner. I'm going to try and go to 832 again. 832, we're going to you. You're live. What's up, and who's this? Where are you calling from? Oh, God. I want to so badly save this guy's number, and he doesn't even talk. 832, you there? All right, that's right. We got a lot of callers here. If you want to talk, you have to press the number 1 on your keypad or on your Skype pad to talk, and I would know that you're, willing to chop it up. So, B, man, some more old news here that we didn't discuss is that Golden Boy is working on a light heavyweight unification fight between the 49-year-old Bernard Hopkins and the WBA champion Beibut Shumenov, coming off of his knockout out there in Texas on the Adrian Broner Marcos Maidana undercard. Schaefer's looking to get this one all wrapped up for April 19th or April 26th. There's no site yet, but this is really all that Hopkins could do with Sergey Kovalev and Adonis Stevenson fighting for HBO and possibly fighting each other. This is probably the best that Hopkins could do because the guy has a title, not much of a name, but because he has a title. So, you know, now Bernard, if he beats, owns two pieces of the puzzle because he does want to fight Kovalev and Stevenson. I was live at the Pali Malignaggi Adrian Broner weigh-in when they were saying it on every, you know, camera that they could, and Bernard has always expressed it. He also had tried to fight Kovalev, and that fight was turned down then. So maybe with two pieces of the puzzle, he becomes more marketable, and they do give him the fight in the future. But right now it's Beibut Shumenov. What you guys think about this fight?
Great fight, man. And you know the thing about it, too, is Shumenov can punch a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see if Shumenov hits Hopkins with a good shot, what happens. Because we did see Hopkins go down against Pacquiao in the first fight twice. And you could argue that Shumenov hits harder than Pacquiao, may not be as quick. But I think the problem is going to be the speed. Bernard Hopkins isn't a speed demon, but he's not fighting a guy that's fast either. So Bernard Hopkins being that guy who the guy's timing very well. If the guy's not quick, then he's going to have an easier time seeing the shots coming and being that counterpuncher that he is. And, you know, I think inside, I think Shumenov will have some problems too because he's a guy that likes to have space too. So I see Hopkins winning the fight, but it could have its moments where it could get tough for him. But all in all, I'm going with Hopkins. And I think it's a good fight, and I think it should be entertaining because I think Shumenov will come to fight. He will bring the fight. He will make Hopkins have to be on the – he'll push Hopkins a little bit. I think he'll push Hopkins. I don't think Hopkins will have an easy time against him like he did Marat, but I still think he'll win the fight.
Let me go to some of these callers real quick, James. I'm sorry, because we're on our last 40-something seconds of the live feed. If you want to continue listening, you must call in 646-478-3068 or catch the rest of the show on the podcast that will be on iTunes on our old iTunes feed. When you search the Boxing Voice, you're going to get two feeds. One's going to say the Blog Talk feed. That's where this show will be. So really quick, let's go to 718. I don't know if you were next. Actually, yes, I do. My 71 itch. You're live. Who's this? Sir, you're live. I'm sure you heard the unmuted sound that the operator told you. Are you willing to talk? Okay. 718, you're live. Who's this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this?
Oh, it's Antonio from Albany. What's going on, guys?
Antonio, what up?
Not much. I started listening to the show late, man, because I was having an issue with the Black Talk website on my cell phone. But real quick before I go, just three quick things, and I just want you guys' opinions. Number one, it's gonna be off topic. What's the deal with Miguel Cotto and his catchweight of 159? I don't know. I mean, what's this all about? You know, I mean, what is he trying to do with this catchweight? A 1 pound catchweight. And then my other thing is, we got Matisse hopefully fighting in April. You guys have any idea who he's fighting? And how true is these negotiations between Garcia and Gamboa?
Babe, you want that?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, the negotiations are coming out of 50 Cent's mouth. So I'm sure.
Oh man, I gotta go. My son.
Oh, okay. Well,
if I could talk real quick, because
go ahead, James.
I know some people that are in the actual Garcia camp that said that 50 Cent tweeted that shit to kind of put pressure on them to get them to sign, but it's not done yet. They are in negotiation for the Gamboa fight, so that's the fight they want to make. Whether or not it actually gets made, obviously, kind of just pretend is on both sides. So that's a fight that's actually obviously that's going in it. I haven't heard anything about the Cotto fight going to 159 or anything like that. That doesn't make sense. Because if Cotto's going to fight Martinez, I thought it would be for the title because he wants to get that fourth title as a Puerto Rican.
You know what's funny with the whole Cotto situation? It all boils down to the egos. I think Cotto feels as though he's got weight on him. When I say weight, I mean he's got some clout over Martinez. And he wants to kind of exercise that a little bit. He wants to kind of impose his will psychologically over Martinez, letting him know, hey, you know what? I'm the draw here. I'm the A side. I don't care you have the title. You're the one that's fighting me. I'm the name. I'm the one that's going to put more money in your pocket. There's still other money fights out there for me instead of you. I turned down $10 million to fight you. You should, give me the credit for that and, respect me for doing that. And I'm helping you out by doing that. And it's kind of an elitist attitude. That's the sense I'm getting. I'm just drawing my own conclusion here. I'm not hearing these things didn't come out of Miguel Cotto's mouth.
Yeah, but B,
personally,
it just seems
like he's trying to push Martinez around a little bit based off of his status. And it's kind of disrespectful because Martinez is the lineal champion, and I think Martinez is right. He does deserve more respect than Cotto's given him. And it's kind of a little bit disappointing to see Cotto act this way.
Yeah, but he didn't get any respect against Chavez either, as in Martinez. Obviously, like every person that even talked to me, casual fans would always come up to me and be like, what do you think Chavez is going to do against Martinez? It's never what Martinez is going to do against Chavez.
Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate the way it is. I mean, he's just never been able to catch on.
Yeah.
He's just never been able to catch on.
Because I got Martinez winning that fight, and you guys could see this because I got the video here. I'm as big as a fucking Miguel Cotto fan as you possibly can get, but I don't think he's winning this fight. I think an 80% Sergio Martinez outboxes a 100% 147, because that's what he is, a 147 fucking Miguel Cotto.
Well, I'm going with Cotto. That's just my pick. I'm going with Cotto.
That's a topic for another show. This has been the Boxing Voice. I do want to say, Beeb, that was a fucking excellent point. I do believe that the whole catch weight thing is just to push your weight around. It's like, motherfucker, I'm the boss. I'm bringing you the money. Anyway, no need for me to reiterate what you. I fucked up. No need for me to reiterate what you already said because you touched on it perfectly, and I just wanted to give you credit for that. But I am your host, NesGTO. You can follow me at NesGTO. These are my two co-hosts. We got James. James, where's your Twitter?
At Jameson Rocket, and that's Jameson with an I.
And the Beebster.
JHabib1, that's JHABEEB, number 1. That's what it is, baby. At JHabib1.
And we are the Boxing Voice, man. So you already know, man. We catch you next, what is it, Thursday?
Thursday, man.
The title shot at the Beeb. He's not even right. And he wants the title shot at the Beeb.
See